Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. Tonight is Monday, February 2nd. We got a 2-2 on the calendar. It's 8:15 p.m. Pacific time. Time for some live best ball drafts. My first on YouTube this season. Going to be fun. Have done some off stream, so at least I know a little bit about the board, but not too much about rookies. That not my forte at this point in time. But regardless, we're going to have some fun, draft at least two teams, one big board for $10 and probably one little board for $3, and then perhaps a third one, maybe not. We will see. Anyways, let us begin. Good to be back. Good to be back. Welcome in Jamie. We got Jamie in the live chat. Good to see you, my friend. Saw you on Huhaim's stream the other day. That was a fun video. That was pretty dope. And your music contributions definitely spotlit, doing pretty nice on Huhaim's channel. But let me get the live chat set up. Got to add a little overlay to the situation, and then we can get your comments on the screen, and then we can move on appropriately. So let me know if you're in here. If you're wanting to draft, we're going to be starting with the big board. In case you have not done one yet, we can see how things shake out, see what we like, see what we don't, and we're going to be hopping in about 15 seconds. So I'm on a minor delay. I would say the delay is about 7 seconds, something like that. And so I will tell you to hit the button right now, and then I will be joining in about 3, 2, 1. Here we go. I got a location error. Boo. That is bullshit. So if you joined, if you can exit, you might want to. I will count it down on my phone. I had this location error earlier today. So big apologies. Always sucks. I'm not in control of that. I grant them access. It just doesn't quite happen. And let me make sure I have everything set up. Okay. I'll show you when I'm about to hit it. But here we go. We are hopping in the big board. Let me get to the single shot. Give you the wide angle. We have it up here, and I'm going to hit it in about 10 seconds. So if you hit it right now, I will hit it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it should sync up. 2 more to start. We have 2 left. We do not need that for the moment. Apologies. But let me go to active drafts. Perhaps it is full. Appears it has filled. So we will go to the draft. We get pick 5. Not bad. I'll take that. I have not gotten many early picks, and we'll see how this goes. But back to the chat. We got Matumbo coming in strong with the $49.99 donation. Bro, what a kind gesture. Thank you so much, man. That is very, very nice. Appreciate all the hard work this season, brother. Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much. Appreciate the donation. It means a lot. And definitely a good omen. Definitely a sign I should be back on YouTube more often. We get the 2-2 on the calendar. Definitely good vibes. Thank you so much, Matumbo. Very, very kind of you. And yeah, can't say thank you enough. But Jamie with a request. Jamie would like me to say a seal pushed me in French, also known as un phoque m'a poussé. Bro. Of all the shit you want me to say, un phoque m'a poussé. Wow. I mean, thankfully that's never happened to me. I hope that it never occurs to any of us, because boy, French has some weird like aspects of the language. French is odd, but boy, never heard that one before. But glad we can make you laugh. Hippo's in here. Welcome, Hippo. And we are on the clock. I think I'm going to take JSN over Jonathan Taylor and everyone else. I do think this is a year where, from what I've seen, running back is just steaming up the board. You need to get running back quickly in these drafts. However, there's always the aspect of certain wide receivers that are just irreplaceable, and you just cannot replicate some of the points that are going to be in your lineup when it comes to passing on some of these really early wide receiver talent. So we're going to take JSN, not anything different than the ADP would suggest. And I do think with the nature of the running back position, how expensive some of them are, and how wide receiver has been depreciated a little bit in the more like middle tiers, I think there's definitely a top 5 players. And I think having JSN at receiver is an advantage as our number 1. I still think we can piece it together at running back. We're going to need to hit that position early and often moving forward, but I'm comfortable taking JSN above guys like Taylor, Genty, and other running backs. It's a little hard at this point in time to like firmly establish who is the RB3 in the rankings. I think Bijan and Gibbs, I think, are a very fair 1 and 2. Similar to last year, they did not really disappoint. Gibbs had a bit of a rough time towards the end of the year, a little bit of a letdown, but in best ball, you need those massive spike weeks, and you can't really get a 40-point option better than Gibbs at running back. So I think those two are perfectly legitimate, definitely justified. And then the top 3 receivers being Chase, Puka, and JSN, they're just not the same questions with everyone else compared to them. Like, there's really no doubt about those top 3. But it does get a little dicey. I do like Amon-Ra a lot, not going to lie. I do like his ADP in the first round. I think you could argue for him as the wide receiver 4. Lamb was a little disappointing, but did get hurt. And then London also did get hurt, but had elite spike week potential. Fairly justified, but I do think you can make some bolder takes and move the ADP around and not be incorrect to do so. So a lot of things are moving. I don't think you should be too risk averse early on, but at least in the top 5, I'm happy with JSN, or I got him. Hippo coming in with a $10 donation. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, one that chipped this year, some of it deserves to go to the Blunt fam. Thank you, my friend. Longtime viewer. Glad I could help you out. And congrats on your championship. Not easy to do. Who was the big pieces? Who led you to the promised land, and who really delivered when it mattered most? Because there's guys that get you there, and then there's guys that you have to slot in the flex, and you might not feel comfortable doing so, but they make the difference. Who were the like top 3 names on your roster? Let me know. Would love to know who was on that roster. But congrats once again, and thank you very much. The Hippo says Jonathan Taylor will fall off next year. I'm worried without a quarterback locked in there that you can really feel confident with Jonathan Taylor as the RB3 at this point in time. Jonathan Taylor, let's pull him up while we take Saquon Barkley. I think getting back in at running back is definitely valuable to do. Jonathan Taylor, I do actually have pulled up here on Player Profiler already, so let's expedite this. Let's stick with him real quick. And I would like to point out the games after the Germany performance in Atlanta. Week 10 in Germany. Munich against the Falcons. This game went into overtime, and Taylor had 32 carries, 244 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also had 3 catches for another 42 yards, and he dropped about 50 points, depending on your scoring format. Elite performance, the best of the year, but that's not what I want to focus on. I want to focus on everything after that point. He had a bye in week 11, and then starting in week 12 against Kansas City, Houston, Jacksonville, Seattle, San Francisco, Jacksonville again, and Houston a second time. So multiple games in division. This sample size should scare you a little bit. 7 games, an average of only 64 rushing yards per game. That is bad. 3.3 yards per carry, only 3 touchdowns in that span compared to what he was offering on the season. That's dog shit. And Jonathan Taylor fell off dramatically in the second half after the bye, after he went nuclear against the Falcons. And what was shocking is the Falcons actually had a great run defense at that point in time. But look at these game logs, like 58, no touchdown, 85, no touchdown, 74, no touchdown, 87, no touchdown, 46, no touchdown, 70, touchdown, 26, and touchdown. That is bad compared to what we have at the top. I'm about to be on the clock, so let's just make a pick and then revisit this. But I'm going to go Breece Hall here. I think he will be escaping the Jets, and everyone really improves drastically once they leave New York and the Jets. So I'm hopeful he goes to the Cowboys. The Cowboys have an open spot with Javonte entering free agency. And I think if Breece Hall wants to put up some elite stats, I think Dallas is the best spot for him to do that. That's what I'm hoping for. But even if it doesn't happen, wherever he goes, I think he'll be better than what he was doing with the Jets. So Breece Hall, elite potential. Running back has already flown off the board. We're looking at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Saquon was RB10 off the board. Last year he was in the top 3. Chase Brown at 11, Kyron at 12, Derrick Henry at 13, Jacobs at 14. We're taking Breece Hall at running back 15. And then we've already seen Bucky and Kenneth Walker. That's 17 running backs off the board in the top 32. That's more than half of those picks going towards this position. So we took receiver elite at the position in round 1. I do not want to fall behind. I want to double tap running back. I would like 2 running backs on my team by the time we exit the 4th round. So we go Saquon and Breece. And then just real quick, a quick revisit on Jonathan Taylor's stats. We showed you the lack of touchdown production in the second half after the bye, but in those first 10 games, there's games with 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, another touchdown, 3 touchdowns, another 3 touchdown game. Not to mention multiple receiving touchdowns as well. If we only spotlight those first 10 games, he was averaging 114 yards per game, 15 touchdowns in that span, so 1.5 per game just on the ground, plus the 2 in the passing game. And then he also added 26 yards receiving. All of that was with Daniel Jones. And a healthy quarterback makes the difference in Indianapolis. So that's my reluctance on Jonathan Taylor. Elite to start the year, bad in the second half. And at least entering this season, were more similar to that second half circumstance of not having a quarterback we trust. I do like RJ Harvey here, but let's push it a little bit. I'm interested in Igbuka. I also like Devontae Smith. I'm going to go Devontae Smith here with the hopes that maybe Igbuka can circle back. Doubt it, but I do like Devontae with the potential that A.J. Brown's going to get traded. I do not think the vibes in Philly are good right now, and A.J. Brown may have overstayed his welcome. Definitely not happy, and it kind of felt like he was on the trade block earlier in the year, but the price wasn't right. I believe, we'll see, but I think by draft day, I could see A.J. Brown dealt to a different team. Maybe the Patriots, maybe somebody else, like the Steelers might be willing to make a splash. They need receiving talent. It could be anyone else. It could be the Bills. It could be the Chargers, for all I know. Could even be the Niners. I doubt that. The Eagles-Niners rivalry is hot, but definitely possible A.J. Brown's on a different roster, and Devontae Smith is the man. So willing to invest in that. Igbuka does go, so it doesn't work out, but I'm willing to draft Devontae at this price, 44 overall. Quinshon Judkins back on the board. Not bad, but I'm not going to fully ignore receiver. And I do love Jalen Waddle. So it's between Waddle and Quinshon. Nah, I'll go running back. But Jalen Waddle absolutely deserves to be drafted here in the 5th. Could have taken him where I took Devontae Smith. But knowing the situation at running back, we are at a big tier break. And I will just take it now. But I might regret passing on Waddle. Not going to lie, might regret that when it comes back around. But Jamie, thank you very much for the $5. Very, very kind of you. Chronic Blunt Smoking 100 Puff Puff Pass Rankings. Bonjour, bonsoir. Lock in your Le Jour Étoile rankings in the chamber. Let's spark it up. These are referencing the lyrics in that song. I recognize the lyrics, bro. Thank you, man. We're going to find a way to incorporate some of those songs. I'm not going to use a long portion of those songs you sent me, but I do feel like in the 10-second range, I can find some very nice transitions and uses for those songs. So I'm going to be trying to make some more intros and drops, whether it just be buffers between, shifting from one subject to the next, one segment on the channel to the next, or we'll add some highlight reels of players. I appreciate that music you sent me, and I'll try to incorporate it in the channel over the off season. Appreciate you, bro. But Jamie's also very fucking high right now. Very appropriate at this time of night. But the Hippo letting us know who's on his roster. We got Puka, May, Chase Brown. I traded Devontae Adams in a pick swap down the from round 1 to 2 for Henry early in the season. It paid off. Down the stretch, if you committed to Adams after he came back on the field, it did not quite work out. Devontae Adams kind of let you down in the very final weeks of the season, whether it be injury or just coming back and not scoring touchdowns. Moving off Adams was the right call in the fantasy playoffs. So to get Henry, especially in week 17, what a trade. Damn, Henry had that 4-touchdown game, if I'm not mistaken, right? He had 40 points in the final week. Henry was the guy you needed. So excellent trade. Congrats, bro. That's awesome. But I should probably get back in at receiver. Kind of regret passing on Waddle now for sure, but I like Fannin here, but I'm gonna go Michael Wilson with some hope and a prayer. But their quarterback situation is brutal. If we go back to Kyler, then this pick is really, really bad. Especially, I think Marvin Harrison's still on the board. I may regret this pick significantly. Right? Is Marvin still on the board? He might be. Oh no, he was already taken. Okay, at least I took him after Harrison, but in hindsight, this is the first time I'm clicking Michael Wilson, and just thinking about the Cardinals' offense right now, I think that's actually a very scary proposition. I significantly regret the Michael Wilson click very quickly. Now, it could still pay out. He looked like elite down the stretch, but they lost their offensive coordinator. Their coach left. I don't really trust Matt LaFleur very much. Their new situation's odd. Weird vibes, but we're at pick 77. Burrow's still on the board. I could definitely take Burrow. I like Herbert, though, but instead we're going to go Fannin. Yeah, I'll take Fannin, and then we'll see what quarterback looks like coming back around. This team after me just took 3 quarterbacks, so that really fucks up the board. I may regret that. Was not noticing that. Odd decision. But we do like Fannin a lot. Definitely some elite target share for him. And Njoku should be leaving, and he's definitely the future. I don't really trust any other pass catcher in Cleveland, so we're kind of investing in the Browns here. Not like planning to, but in the last 3 rounds, we took both Quinshon Judkins and Harold Fannin. So perhaps a Shadur Sanders pick might be in our future. But Burrow goes, Dart goes, and Herbert goes. I was definitely in the market for a quarterback, but I think it's worth pushing. I've been taking a lot of like early mid-round quarterbacks like around this range, whether it be Jackson, Dart, Herbert, Caleb I like too. I think May's a little bit overpriced just by comparison. Like, really? You think he's going to be just as valuable as Lamar Jackson? I don't know about that. His schedule was a major factor towards last year's upside. He's not a bad quarterback, definitely top 10, but I think schedule is a bit important for him. But he does get 2 games against the Jets, so that's always nice. But if this team takes quarterback, that'd be fucking shocking. They go 4 quarterbacks? Go ahead, bro. Be my guest. I don't give a shit at this point. Only problem with that is circling back at that position's a little bit tight. Shit. I'm just gonna grab DJ Moore because I felt like in the last round I was falling behind at that position, and I don't like the Michael Wilson pick in hindsight. So even though we have JSN, Devontae Smith, Michael Wilson, I'm gonna take DJ Moore here, and then hope that this side of the board is less QB heavy on the trigger. But this next pick, regardless of what we're looking at, I'm taking quarterback. I think we ignored that position a little bit too much so far to ignore it again. But if there's any team I'm willing to write off in this pod already, it's the team right behind me with the 4 quarterbacks in the last 4 rounds. That's just reckless, way too reckless. Hopefully it doesn't get thrown out. I doubt it because they're all kind of like at ADP. They're all like falling as well. Maybe not Drake May, but everyone else is like falling at ADP there. So that's interesting, but not the move I would have made. That guy should have taken DJ Moore instead of Mahomes. But be my guest. We're going to go Stafford. I do not believe Stafford is retiring at all. And what is this? Quarterback 15 off the board? Yeah, I'll take Stafford there. Definitely still MVP caliber. Adams will be back, so those touchdowns on the goal line should be gimmies yet again. And in case you're worried about Stafford retiring, because that is possible, I'd be more worried that he's not on the Rams. I'm more worried that he drags out his contract in the offseason again and his back injury flares up and there's like a reason for them to move off of him. I really doubt that's going to happen. I think that's only like a 10% chance. Very negligible, but it is possible. That's my main concern. Otherwise, I'm like 80-90% sure Stafford's going to stay with the Rams. Next year's Super Bowl is at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. That's definitely the ideal way to go out. Win the Super Bowl on your home field, just like you won it back in 2021 with the first time around. There is no doubt in my mind that Stafford is not coming back. They made it too far. They're too close, and they have 2 first-round picks in this year's draft. That team's going to be much improved, and they're probably going to be the front runner for the Super Bowl in the NFC, at least in the top 3 teams alongside Seattle and I don't know, maybe Chicago, probably the most likely. Eagles always in that mix as well. But we're back on the clock. Coker's kind of interesting, but we got in a weird position at quarterback, so maybe I get ahead of that and go Tyler Shuck. Yeah, let's just do that. I could see this turn getting ugly at that position. We've got the Lamar team with no backup, the Josh Allen team with no backup, and then the team that drafted 4 QBs. It's just a weird zone at the moment. So we'll just take it out of a bit of a panic, a bit of a hedge, bit of a safety insurance policy. But I do like Shuck's value straight up in regards to like where he comes off the board. 10th round QB 20, if I'm not mistaken, or like quarterback 20 or so. He looked pretty decent. He's got some rushing value. I think Kellen Moore's offense is going to take a leap next year. Probably gets another good target to throw to. It's not just going to be Olave. I believe they have very limited cap space, but still, I think Shuck flashed some upside and value where I'm willing to invest in him at this price. But quarterback's weird in this one. I kind of wish I took maybe like Justin Herbert, Burrow, or Dart instead of Fannin in hindsight. There was a bigger run on QB than I expected at the 7-8 turn. But it is what it is. We're back on the clock, and I do think Debo's interesting. Casey Concepcion is interesting. But then I also feel kind of confident with Kayshon Boutte. I'm going to go Kayshon Boutte just because despite the hype on the rookie, there's so many variables that can make this just a brutal pick. I'm not wise enough on the rookie market as of today to give you any bold, strong takes. I've heard some other opinions in the fantasy space last few days as I've been watching a few other streams. Shout out to a few channels I recommend, channels that I'm tuned into at the moment. PPR Tyler has got some very good rookie updates lately. I also enjoy Huhaim's channel quite a bit. Huhaim's has some strong takes as well. Love Huhaim's channel. Fantasy Garage, I believe, might be live streaming at the moment. I was in a draft with him earlier, watching his channel. And then Davis Maddox streaming earlier today has some definitely valuable takes as well. And then haven't watched like Fantasy Flock in quite some time, but I'm sure as the weeks go by, I'll check in on the Flock channel. He's also does a lot of drafts, sharp drafter, good opinions. And then I'm sure there's others that I'm just forgetting right now, but yeah, good content being pumped out right now by the community. Highly recommend. Jamie in the chat, moderator, did a appearance on Huhaim's channel just the other day. That's a fun watch if you're interested. But we're back on the clock here. Kenyon Sadiq do not know enough to feel confident in that click. We did just take Keishon Booty, so we could stay in this realm and grab Hunter Henry. Tyreek Hill's an interesting pick. I also like Elijah Surratt. I'm actually going to go Elijah Surratt. That's the one. We timed out. We take Hunter Henry. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Paired up with Fannin, I might call it at 2 with that combination, but I should have probably gone Juwan Johnson instead. But back to Elijah Surratt. That is one receiver I'm actually looking into and not hating the price. He's a little bit cheaper than some of the others, I think, especially given him playing for Indiana and having some extra exposure. Probably going to be drafted a bit higher than maybe if he played for a different team. But I think once you're past some of like the more obvious names like Cardell Tate, is he off the board? Yeah, he went off at 49 with Tyson at 48, the Ohio State receiver. I do have some interest in Elijah Surratt. I'll put it that way. I'm not telling you he's like a must draft or a must click. I think if you get him at a good value, if he falls, don't be afraid to hit the button. I've done it a couple times in like 4 or 5 drafts so far. But again, landing spot, in my opinion, is one of the more valuable pieces of information regarding all of these rookies. Opportunity in your rookie year, along with draft capital and investment, is going to make me a lot more confident picking some of these players. But Tyreek does go. Sniped at the last second. We mentioned Shador. I still think he's on the board, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, leave him alone for now. Ayuk is... Oh, god damn it. Am I really going to take Ayuk again? Fuck. I can't help myself, man. This is a really cheap price. Oh, God, I'm going to regret it. But I just cannot pass on Ayuk in the 13th. God damn it. Someone needs to stop me. Someone needs to stop me because this is just ridiculous at this point. I still believe, but oh, man. This is my kryptonite. Round 13, Ayuk past ADP. Fuck me. Jesus. FK Cooler's in the chat. I watched your appearance on Who Hangs as well. Loved that video, man. You got some sharp takes. I honestly feel honored that you're a member, that you subscribe to the channel. FK Coolers knows his shit. But he's saying Brees is one of my favorite early running back targets because I'm playing it as if he won't be staying on the Jets. I completely agree. So he could rise a half to full round if the moves to a nice landing spot. 100%. So much potential with Brees that is yet to be untapped, and absolutely, definitely a good target in round 3. I think that's a very fair price for him, with room to explode. I think he could genuinely rise inside the top 12. That's where he went a couple years ago. If you tell me he's on the Cowboys, watch the hype train. That's what I'm hoping for. And even if it's like, I know the Chiefs are like kind of in the market, but I doubt they add him. I would kind of hate to see him go there. But Cowboys is what I'm rooting for, no doubt about it. We only have 3 running backs at this point, so a little tricky. Not ideal. But I kind of can't quit Aaron Jones either. Fuck. Charbonnet would be the smash pick if he didn't just tear his ACL. For it to happen so late in January, I'm not really trying to push Sharbs, but maybe I should have taken him. This is like 14 picks past ADP, so if he circles back, I might jump on the Sharp bandwagon. But Aaron Jones looked significantly better than Jordan Mason when on the field. He's going to miss time. He's going to definitely get hurt again. But I don't know. I could see him still be the RB1 in Minnesota. I could also see him going elsewhere and being irrelevant. But at this stage, we're only drafting backups in the first place. So despite the age concerns and definitely some missed time baking that in 100%, like he's the same age as James Conner. He is less injured than what Conner had last year. And while Conner is probably a bit more locked into Arizona, I would say Conner might have more competition. So 2 rounds cheaper than Conner, very similar player profile. I'm willing to take him at this price, but I don't feel like super confident. I'll be honest. Just need the position. Singleton broke his foot, so that's definitely not the pick. Braylon Allen is rather tempting. Also coming off an injury. You know what? Fuck it. I'll go Braylon Allen. I don't feel super confident in my running back shares right now. And I feel like Braylon Allen's price is like baked in that he's like backing up Breece right now. Like this is where Braylon went like last year. And I really, not only do I feel confident that Breece is leaving, but we're just like Coolers was saying, we're drafting Breece with the assumption that he's not on the Jets. So that really opens up opportunity. Braylon is still very young. Braylon was, when he was drafted, was like one of the youngest players in the NFL by like a mile. I believe he was drafted at the age of 20. He's still super young. Yeah, just turned 22. He's 6'1", 235 pounds. There were some rave reviews about him in camp last year. Runs a 4.51, but when you adjust it for his speed, he's in the 96th percentile in terms of his speed to weight ratio. So pretty talented. And a bit of a bulldozer. Had 4.2 yards per carry last year with the Jets. That's not the easiest thing to do. But I just believe there will be some opportunity for him. So I'm comfortable with this price in theory. I may take that back in a couple weeks when I do a bit more digging. But at the moment, I think when I only have 3 running backs I feel confident in, grabbing someone like Aaron Jones, super old guy, pairing him with a 22-year-old like Braylon Allen, who I think's going to have a bigger role, I'm fine with that as like a way to kind of pad my depth at this position. Usually I've been drafting running back a little bit earlier. Like usually I would have had my 4th running back sooner. So that compels me a little bit. I do like Terrence Ferguson. We have Stafford stacked, but receivers kind of fallen apart a little bit. And my boy Torrey Horton is here. So we will take Torrey Horton. Love Torrey Horton. I do not believe Shaheed returns to the Seahawks. Cooper Kupp will be yet another year older. And Horton was a touchdown machine before he went down. Horton was a guy I was pumping literally after the draft. Back in May, Horton was my guy. I was sprinkling him in round 18 in best ball drafts all throughout last year. And then towards like late July, early August, he started to get pushed up to around like round 16, 15. And I chased him all the way. And if not for the injury, that pick would have been such a good smash. Such a good pick. Super talented. Injuries really derailed his rookie season, kept him under the radar in training camp. But his connection, his chemistry with Darnold was very good in the red zone. And he had multiple games with double-digit fantasy points due to his touchdown production. Let's pull up Torrey Horton real fast. Because if you slept on him, it's not because I didn't tell you about him. I love Torrey Horton like crazy. Not a lot of targets, but when he caught it, it went for a touchdown. Like 2 catches, 32 yards for a touchdown in back-to-back weeks here against Pittsburgh and New Orleans, weeks 2 and 3. And then week 4 kind of disappeared. But then in week 5, another 39 yards and a touchdown on 3 catches. And then against Washington, his breakout game before getting injured, 4 catches on 4 targets, 48 yards, 2 touchdowns. So 5 touchdowns in like 7 games played. Like don't count week 1 and then week 6 and 7 with bagels. Those are, I'm not going to dismiss them, but this is best ball. You can tolerate some bagels if it comes with touchdowns every other week. We are going to grab Shador. We are pot committed to the Browns. And while I'm not like in love with Shador, this was a weird quarterback draft. That team taking 4 in a row. We got to get what we can, and we set it up this way. We took Fannin and Judkins, so like I'm locked in to Cleveland a little bit. So let's just bet on the Browns even more and have some correlation there out of necessity. This is a decent price. We're getting a locked-in starting quarterback, and the stack makes it worth it. But Jamie, also a huge Terrence Ferguson fan. We also hyped him up a lot last year. Love his price as well this season. With Stafford, it made sense, but given my investment at tight end, I felt like it was a little excessive for what my team needed. But Coolers says, thank you for the kind words. By the way, I'm East Coast, so sometimes these streams are a little late for me, but always enjoy the way you approach content and explain your takes. Noted. I am not going to usually do it this late, but just today got a little bit sidetracked, so I doubt this will be my typical time, but definitely wanted to get in before the night was over. But Cooler's also saying I like Horton as a buy low too. Totally agree with the reasoning. Cup could be a salary cap victim, and I think someone else may overpay for Shaheed. Absolutely. Even if Cup stays there, just his role has been diminishing, and there's definitely like ripe opportunity for someone to step up. And I would agree, I think Shaheed is probably not going to stick with them. His main contributions with the team have been on special teams. Like, that's usually not a player you're going to prioritize, especially when, like, you know his price is going to be high. So I doubt he's there. I like him a lot. I'm going to go Flournoy, but I like several receivers in this range. We're going to grab Ryan Flournoy with the potential that, like, Pickens doesn't re-sign. I'm pretty convinced Pickens will re-sign, but Flournoy definitely earned a solid rotation. I like him this late as well as a bit of a hidden gem. But his production was a little bit injury dependent. And it took him kind of a while in CeeDee Lamb's injury to get going. But once he did have some breakout games with over 100 yards receiving. And it looks like Dak has some confidence in him. So that offense just has upside, has value, not much of a defense, but they'll probably get better via the draft this year. And either way, I trust Dak to be slinging it. So Flournoy, a solid like third receiver name with some value. Appreciate you, Coolers. Also asking, curious if you have any sort of Arizona Cardinals take, playing it for Kyler to be their guy, something else, or just avoiding for now. Yeah, I regret the Michael Wilson pick a little bit. The price isn't like egregious, but I think there's too many variables to be super confident. I'm a bit worried about their offensive play calling and then quarterback combo. I'll make this pick and then elaborate a little bit more. But not my favorite team. I don't think they're like dead in the water, but complicated. I would like to see their draft before I'm like locked in, because there's a lot of moving parts there. But definitely want another running back here. It gets a little gross. We just took another Cowboy, so I'll go Jaden Blue. He's at least going to be on the roster, and I think he does have some upside if he actually gets some touches. So as optimistic as I am that Brees does sign with the Cowboys, if he doesn't, they're a team that has been really underpaying for running back in free agency as of late. Like after the Ezekiel Elliott overpay, they have tried to go as cheap as possible there. So I'm expecting another like 1-year contract with someone that takes league minimum. If they don't go big fish hunting with like Brees Hall. And if that's the case, they could add someone that's bad and maybe Jaden Blue can compete with them for the starting job. But back to your question, Coolers. At the moment, I believe Kyler Murray is too big of a cap cut to move off of. And even if they do, I'd be really worried about who they bring in. So at the moment, I think Kyler's kind of their best case scenario. I think if not, it's going to be Malik Willis. That would be my guess, because Matt LaFleur, head coach of the Packers, made him work. And the Cardinals' new head coach, Mike LaFleur, his brother, is probably going to be running the exact same system, and it's just going to be a more seamless transition. We've also seen like Green Bay backup quarterbacks get way overpaid in free agency, a la what's his name? The guy that got overtaken by Russell Wilson, Matt Flynn, quite some time ago. So there's a world where if it is Malik Willis, that goes way south, way too fast. And then there's also a world where it does pan out better than what we had with Brissett and Kyler. But I'm kind of just like really praying that they hold on to Brissett or like someone that just slings the rock, like Mac Jones even. But I think because of their cap situation, it's really unlikely that somebody of a higher caliber than like Brissett does find his way there. And if it is Kyler, then that offense just kind of sucks. Like the fantasy numbers never had value until Kyler went down. So I think there's like some major landmines if you're heavily invested in Arizona at the moment. Not my like favorite team, but also not a team that I completely write off. Shit. What am I doing? I'm going to go Ben Sinnott out of just lack of planning on that pick. I did not look at the board soon enough. I don't like these 20-second pick clocks this early in the year. Like there's too many auto picks that I think happen because of the 20-second. But we did get Sinnott in the queue, our third tight end. We have Fannin, Henry, and Sinnott, especially in round 20. I'll still take some random shots on Ben Sinnott. I cannot fully quit Ben Sinnott, but here's the bottom of the board. My final pick after Jaden Blue was Ben Sinnott. So a quick reminder of our full draft, and then if there's anyone in the chat with in this lobby with me, if you drafted with me, let me know. I'll take a peek at your team, but if not, we'll do another one after I remind you of my roster. So we go with JSN in round 1. We take a double running back approach with Saquon and Brees. Happy I did that, given the value at that position got so bleak so fast. Then we took Devontae, and then Quinshon Judkins. I kind of wish I took Waddle over Quinshon. In hindsight, I think if I had Waddle, I guess Jalen Warren here probably, and then a quarterback instead of Quinshon, Michael Wilson, and Fannin, I think I would feel a lot more confident in this team. I think rounds 5, 6, and 7 were a bit misplayed. And then because of the shitstorm at Team 6 behind us that goes 4 straight QBs, I feel like I kind of got stuck behind that position a little too much. So I feel like I mismanaged this team a little bit. Rounds 5 through 8, and then we had to kind of play catch up in rounds 9 and 10, not to like totally hate the roster. But I don't think it's egregious. I think it can work. It's just definitely not one of my favorite teams that I've drafted so far. So definitely you live and you learn. Not too upset, but with the rest of the roster going Stafford, Shuck, Kayshon Boutte, Hunter Henry, Ayuk. Man, the Ayuk pick could be atrocious, but I still have a little bit of faith. Aaron Jones, Braylon Allen. That's also not like my favorite combo, but I do like the age combination. The old vet and the young rising star. Torrey Horton, love that pick. Shador, definitely a good stacking option. And then Ryan Flournoy, Jaden Blue. The Cowboys have upside, and then Ben Sinnott, whatever, but has upside. Not gonna fully shit on it. I took him for a reason. I wanted a third tight end on this team. So that's the team. I wouldn't rate it as my best. I'll go through my exposure after this next draft, but it was fine. I would give it like a B-. Not like a terrible grade, but not an A. I don't think that was an amazing team. But Green Bean is in here at 2, so let's take a look at Green Bean's team. He goes with Gibbs at the 102. Very appropriate. Nico Collins at the 211, followed by Kyron in the 3rd. Definitely feels like a solid price, but Blake Corum scares me a little bit, but I still think Kyron's going just fine. RJ Harvey there. I almost took RJ Harvey instead of Devontae. So not a bad pick at all. I like the 3 running backs early on. I think that's a very, very wise way to go about it. Then Igbuka, good price on Igbuka. I also considered him instead of Devontae, hoping he came back. So good pick there. Tyler Warren at a good value. I considered him over Michael Wilson, but you take him. Then you go QJ. I like the Quentin Johnston price because, in all honesty, I don't really feel that confident that Ladd should be going, what is it, 40 picks over Quentin Johnston? I mean, if you look at the stats, it's 2 straight years where Quentin Johnston has the most touchdowns on the Chargers. I don't fully... I understand drafting Ladd over QJ, but I don't understand the 40 pick gap between the two. I think people still just hate on Quentin Johnston too much. So I like the value on Quentin Johnston, to be honest with you. I kind of wish I took QJ over Michael Wilson, personally. So love that pick. Honestly, every pick you've made so far I think is awesome. David Boston, or is it Denzel Boston? I'm already forgetting. But Mr. Boston, I've heard Huhames hype him up a lot. I don't have a strong take on Boston, but I trust Huhames enough to want to draft him enough, definitely a few times. So we'll see how that pans out in terms of what team drafts him. But sounds like a solid talent at the very least. Bo Nix as your first quarterback. The market got weird in this draft, so I think getting in at QB here in the 9th round was wise. Then you go Coker at a solid value. Coker has upside. We'll see where he goes in free agency. I would love for him to stay in Carolina. I think that'll probably happen. And if it does, you get the stack with Bryce Young. So not bad at all, but a bit of a weak QB2. I'm in the same boat. Can't blame you. And then Pat Bryant, Elijah Surratt, good picks there at receiver. Like that a lot. I wish I got Surratt instead of Ayuk personally. So Likely also on the team as your tight end 2. Definitely some upside. Is he a free agent? I think Likely is also a free agent. And then Chimeri DK, the most valuable Titans receiver. I think DK is a solid click as well in the range of like A.D. Mitchell and Troy Franklin. Definitely a decent click for sure. Tank Bigsby, I got no take on. I'm not like in or out, but not like my favorite click. Mason Taylor, we'll see about that. I don't know what the quarterback situation is, but definitely getting the most snaps. Malik Washington. Oh, no, this is Mike Washington, running back rookie. We'll see where he goes, but I know PPR Tyler was hyping him up, so that's optimistic. Ty Simpson, I have no idea what's going to happen with him. I got no clue. And then Leggett. Interesting Leggett click at the end. Leggett, I'm a bit worried, is a bust. That's my concern. But in round 20, you can go wherever you want and make a case for it. So solid team. I love the early round picks. I think once we get to like Bo Nix and Bryce Young, there are some picks that are, hard to convince me, but like in the double-digit rounds, do what you want. So good team, man. Love the early rounds. Love everything through like Coker, Bryce Young, even Pat Bryant and Surratt. Like I think that's 13 rounds of like very, very solid drafting, my friend. Nice job. Shanzo Gonzo, stopping in to drop a like before I crash. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate it. But let's go, Jamie. Let's do another one. Should we do another big board or should we do a little board? Maybe given the bad luck that team kind of had, I didn't fall in love with that team. I'll do a little board. Save a little money. $3 entry on the little board. Practice a little bit. We have 19 left in the little board. You can max it out with 20 entries, so I definitely want to do some on the live stream and get some cheaper buy-ins. And then this tournament's not bad either, 100K to first, but I do think that the big board has a better payout structure. Like in the big board, there's a little bit extra relief. You have to finish top 3 to advance as opposed to top 2, so good odds to make your money back. And then if you do somehow win it, first prize is $200,000, and then you still can make $8,000 by finishing top 20. And then if you finish in the top 100, you still make $2,000. If you finish top 300, you still get $1,000. Like the payout structure in the big board's pretty dope. The final has 558 people. So you would have to finish top half to make $1,000 in the final. But still, if you make the final, you get $500. If you advance to the playoffs, you get your money back. And then if you make it to week 16, you get $100, and it only goes up from there. So I think the big board, I think, is like the best investment. I'm going to try and do as many big boards as I can on the live stream. But today we did one already. And for the second one, Jamie is requesting a little board. Let's mix it up, and definitely want to max this one as well. So I'm going to hop in. I'm going to count it down. We might get the location error. I've gotten that multiple times today on the computer. So I'm going to do it on my phone, but I'm going to cue it up on the screen. And give me a moment while I get set up. But we are entering the little board, $3 entry. You do have to finish top 2. So the odds of getting your money back in this are slimmer than the big board. However, the payout structure is a little bit more top heavy based on the buy-in. And for $3 down, I think it should be a little bit harder. I think it's very appropriate that it's a little bit harder than the big board. So the delay is roughly 6, 7, 10 seconds. So I think if you hit the button right now, if you hit that button this second, I will hit it in 4, 3, 2, 1. And I am in. I will pull it up as soon as it is ready. We have one more spot remaining, and the draft is full. Okay, that happened very quickly. So hopefully we timed it up correctly. Hopefully you got in right before I clicked the button. It should be timed well if that's what happened. But I do recognize big game in here. So that's Jamie. He did make it in. I'm glad Jamie got in. And otherwise, I do not recognize anyone else, if I'm not mistaken. But if you are in here, let me know. We got Peanut Punch enjoying the stream. I'm glad P Punch is not in this draft. I feel like I would lose if P Punch is in this draft. So welcome in, Peanut Punch. Good to see you, man. How are you doing? And thank you for joining us tonight. A bit late, especially for those East Coasters, but thank you for everyone who's joined. And hopefully with the 9 slot, we get a better team. I think we'll have some slightly higher success. But Jamie says we all lose if Punch is in the draft. Well, no, not everyone. One person can still advance, but I would put some money down that if you're in a draft with P Punch, he is likely going to advance. Crossface did not make it, and I apologize. Sadly, we had some unfortunate timing. I hate when I'm like one of the last people that's in the lobby, because odds are with the delay, if you're trying to get in, you're going to hit the button like right after I hit the button, so apologies there, Crossface. But maybe next time. We will definitely be back here quite often. Maybe not every single night, but I think leading up to the draft, I would like to be doing at least like 3 or 4 big boards on the live every week. Maybe not every single day, but when I can, hopefully I'll do like at least 4 to 5 lives per week. And it's also not going to be this late most of the time. We'll mix it up a little bit. I'll maybe do an earlier afternoon stream tomorrow. And then Wednesday, I think I'm going to be busy. But here we are on the board. And I didn't love how my draft went going early wide receiver. But I will acknowledge Amon-Ra, I do believe, is in the clear first round of picks. I do feel really confident when I have Amon-Ra in round 1. So we're going to do that. I think around this turn, a lot of these running backs are very similar to each other. So we'll just try to get the best value and make the most of it. I could have definitely gone with running back there. Definitely could have been the move. But despite not loving my team, we're in a different draft slot. We're on a different side of the board. And I'll go with Amon-Ra St. Brown this time around. We'll see if we like it in the 9 slot going with wide receiver in round 1. But in general, I've preferred my teams when I have a lot more early round running backs because that position dries up super fast. So I'm going to prioritize that knowing I've locked up my wide receiver 1 with Amon-Ra. We can feel comfortable ignoring running back for a while. Like if these next 3 picks are running back, and we don't hit receiver until like round 5, I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's very, very appropriate. But Crossface, I'm an East Coast night owl. I'll be here. Good to know. Peanut Punch drafts quantity over quality. We all do. On Underdog, like, we all draft a lot of teams that are worthless. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? They just don't advance. But I will take Genty here with a quarterback coming in, and then Clint Kubiak as the head coach. We're gonna have far better play calling than we had with Chip Kelly. Far better play quarterback play than we got with Geno Smith. And while I do see a few pitfalls with Genty, I do not want to be underweight on Genty when the season is over. And we just got him at a significant discount. His ADP is pick 12, taking him at pick 16, 4 picks. In the top 2 rounds, a 4-pick drop is significant. So that's good value, and I'm fine with that. I have not drafted Genty yet. So to get him here at pick 16, I've seen him go in the first round. I'm chilling. I'm happy with that at pick 16. It could have definitely gone with Omarion Hampton, but there were points in time that had me a little concerned with Hampton. There were also points in time when I was ecstatic about Hampton's future. As a Charger fan, I watched him very closely. I think you could literally argue for Hampton as low as RB12 and as high as RB3. I think there is a massively wide range of outcomes on Omarion Hampton. So for him to be going mid round 2, early round 2, basically, I think is totally fair. And if you wanted to reach on him above Christian McCaffrey, I think you could argue it's justified. If you wanted to let him fall and he goes after Chase Brown here, dipping into the 3rd round, I think that's also not egregious. But with Mike McDaniel coming in, with the offensive line getting healthier, I'm definitely on the side that Hampton is more valuable than not. I think he's a better pick than Achane. I think he might be a safer pick than Christian McCaffrey. And I think similarly, I value him on equal footing as Taylor and Genty. So, really the top like 8 running backs I think are all kind of the same. And I really think it's just like how the ADP is shaken out, why they're going where they're going. But you could absolutely pull up any of the running backs in round 2 in the first, and I don't think you'd be crazy. I really don't. It's just what it is. So if we can get him in round 2 right now, I'm going to be drafting a shit ton of Hampton. And as he moves up and down the board, I will be chasing him as well. Going to be drafting a lot of Omarion Hampton this season. But today we go with Ashton Genty, and that's definitely not a pick I regret either. Same tier. I'm fine with that. But we're going to take a hit from the pipe, a little weed smoking. Big game goes triple running back. Love it, Jamie. Love the triple running back strategy. Honestly, it might be the correct move. I think if you're not getting 2 running backs in the first 4 rounds, you are missing out. And if you want 3 of them, you should probably do it. But we'll see how Jamie's team turns out with the triple running back strategy. I had a team earlier where I ended up going 4 running backs in the top 6 rounds. I ended up going with 4 running backs by like pick 67. I remember quite clearly earlier today. But we mentioned I like Kyron at this price. I do like AJ Brown as well, but there's a lot of variables with AJ Brown right now. Meanwhile, drafting the Rams RB1 I think is fairly safe. A little worried about Corum, but as of today, given the prices of running back, I think Kyron is a fair, justified round 3 pick. He is number like 17 off the board as well at the position. Yeah. ETN is RB18 according to ADP. Kyron at RB17. When you think about it that way, it makes total sense. When you think about it in round 3, that's where he was going last year. And while I don't think he'll be as good as last year, the drop off from like RB8 or wherever he was down to like RB12, I think is more realistic than for him to be RB17. I think Kyron's a fine pick there, but I'm compelled to go with running back again before it dries up. I like Scattaboo, I like Travion, I like RJ Harvey, but my heart says Travion Henderson. My heart says Travion will learn how to block, and he will be what I thought he was going to be last season. He kind of was, but Ramondre was a big thorn in our side. But anyway, if you ever see this drop, you know exactly what I'm going to do. If you would like to join me, if you got it, smoke it. I'll see you on the other side with a plume of smoke. Jamie hitting the pipe with me, and he loves that we're on the different side of the board. I agree. It's nice to be on different sides of the board, but similar to you, I also grabbed 3 running backs early, but I grab a different Detroit Lion in round 1. So me and Jamie are in a very similar camp, but just opposite direction in terms of receiver. And at least for my sake, while I don't have Gibbs, to have St. Brown over Terry McLaurin, big difference, but that's not really a fair comparison. Really not. If anything, let's compare the team before me at 8 with Big Game's team. They both go trip running backs through the first 3 rounds, and then wide receiver. So a Christian McCaffrey, Omarion Hampton, Kenneth Walker team with JMO, and then a Gibbs, Jadarius Love. Sometimes I forget what the first name is. Yes, Jeremiah, and Josh Jacobs with Terry. Not bad. Not bad at all. With Debo as a free agent, Jaden Daniels should be healthy. I'm a little worried about Cliff Kingsbury leaving, but if there's one guy I think can bounce back even at age 31, it's Terry. I don't think Terry's a bad pick, but a little scared. I'm also a little scared about Jameson Williams as well. I feel like as of today, there are so many variables at wide receiver. Once you pass like Garrett Wilson, it's hard to know exactly what everyone's role is going to be. Like, I think I trust that Adams' role is going to be the same, but he's going to be even older. His injuries still a minor concern. Egbuka is still in a very crowded offense in Tampa. I would like to assume he's the number 1 again, but you really don't know. If they bring back Evans, Godwin could be better. Jalen McMillan will be healthy. I don't know exactly what the target share is for someone like Egbuka. Luther Burden to be going as the wide receiver 1 in Chicago feels kind of ludicrous. I don't understand that. Like, I understand the upside, but well over Rome and DJ Moore, I feel like they should be going like back to back to back, not like this. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go full sail on RB and just see how we feel. Because that's why I didn't like the team before. The team we drafted earlier, I didn't feel like I liked the running back depth enough. And we still had like early investments in running back. We had Quinshon Judkins as our RB3. So like he goes 1 pick before this, and I'm taking Swift as my RB4. So there is no way I'm going to exit this draft not liking my running back room. And like considering how much green is at the top of the board here, I don't hate it. Like I feel confident in my ability to identify good value wide receivers as we trickle down the board. And to be honest, I feel like I could even get away with drafting not a single wide receiver in the next 3 rounds as well. Based on how I've seen the board go, I honestly think I could get away with like quarterback, tight end, quarterback in the next 3 rounds. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to take Jaden Daniels here. Let's bet that he's healthy and the rushing upside, that he can go over 300 points again. We're grabbing him as QB5. And personally, I don't understand why Drake May is going above Jaden Daniels. I don't quite get that. Like, I wouldn't say Drake May should be going well behind Jaden Daniels, but I feel like we could easily flip their ADP and make it strong argument for that. But with no Cliff Kingsbury, I understand a slight hesitancy on Jaden, but his rushing value is too good to pass on at this point. Drake May doesn't quite rely on that in the same way. He had a very good schedule, and his wide receiver room is a little bit odd. It probably gets better, but I could also see Travion taking a leap and maybe them being a bit more of a run-first team. Drake May, quarterback 3, early round 5, feels like it's a bit driven by recency bias and the fact that he's in the Super Bowl. A little bit. Above the rushing quarterbacks like Jaden. And even Hurts. I feel like Drake May and Jalen Hurts should probably be going like back to back. That's my early take on it. But as I dive a little deeper, maybe I'll change my tune. Maybe I will see some stats later on that have me compelled to draft Drake May even above ADP. I doubt it, but my gut as of this moment says he's about a round and a half too high for my taste. But he does go to Jamie's team. Sorry, Jamie. That's just how I feel, man. But doesn't like any of the wide receivers in the late 4th round. It's a weird spot. I do think Waddle's interesting. I think Christian Watson's interesting. And then like by comparison, where Luther Burden is going, I do think Rome looks like a solid pick at his ADP. And then like DJ Moore is like still not off the board. I think he's also kind of interesting. So wide receiver is weird. I don't think wide receiver is going to look like this at all when we get to like even like June. Not like August, it'll be way different, but even by June, I can't envision that it's being pushed down where Rome is like going the same price he was last year. And like, oh shit, I'm on the clock. Fuck. Fuck. Damn it. We're taking digs, but I did not realize I was on the clock at all. Fuck. Maybe I should just focus on my own team. Maybe that's the lesson. Leave other people's teams alone when you're high and we're in new territory. I've never been in the territory so far in these drafts where I'm like only one receiver deep through 6 rounds. I have not been this bold. And I don't hate the Diggs pick here, but I find it a little hard to believe he'll be as good this season as he was last year. The Patriots receiving core is going to be shaken up, and I could even see Diggs on a different team, on a different roster. I wish I took Quentin Johnston there, but we're going to make up for it and go DJ Moore. We mentioned the good price on Rome Odunze by comparison to Luther Burden, and DJ Moore is really in the same camp. So DJ Moore I like a lot. In round 8, hell yeah. I wish I took Quentin Johnston over Diggs, but we have 2 of the last 3 receivers, so they're all kind of in the same price range. But yeah, just like clicking the button this late, compared to last year, DJ Moore was going where Burden is going now. Like, DJ Moore was a top 50 pick last year, and I did not like that price. And I was actually kind of wrong. DJ Moore actually, like, somewhat lived up to that price. Maybe not entirely, but he did have some solid spike weeks with, like, 20-plus points. Burden had some as well. Definitely a bit more of a deep threat. And then Rome was a bit more of the, like, clear wide receiver 1. But, like, I think I said it earlier, I feel like they should be going more like back to back to back in like there should only be like a 2-round gap between the 3 in my opinion. Meanwhile, Burden is 4 rounds earlier than DJ Moore. That I think is a error, but I could also be wrong. I kind of don't know what to make of any of my takes in February. Like, so many things can change. DJ Moore is also a trade candidate as well. I doubt it. I think they actually have some cap space given Caleb Williams' contract. They're not like floundering to pay people. They can afford DJ Moore's salary this year, I believe. So he might stay, he might go, but if he goes, I think he could even gain value. Like if you put him on the Chargers hypothetically or the Bills, that'd be pretty compelling. So yeah, I like the price on DJ Moore. I like it on QJ by comparison to Ladd. Would definitely rather draft Quentin Johnston at that price than Ladd in the 4th. Alec Pierce, that feels weird. A little bit too pricey. Feels odd, but he was great. I just don't know if he's going back to Indianapolis. And like, even if he stays there, the quarterback variable is really, really hard to trust. And then if he goes somewhere else, who's to say that a free agent is actually going to hit in new territory? Like, it's really not a guarantee when a player changes teams, especially at the receiver position. That is a pretty big gamble, in all honesty. So that's not a click I love. Addison has great talent, but a weird suspension looming. Instead, I'm just going to lock up Jared Goff. I kind of like the Drew Petzing fit. I know most people kind of laughed at it in the media, like, really, the Cardinals offensive coordinator, but I think the context, Goff can have a big bounce back for sure. Arizona does not have the personnel that the Lions have. So I do think Drew Petzing will be more effective in his play calling, even if it's the same play calling. Those plays will pick up more yardage than they would have in Arizona with the Lions roster. So right off the bat, I think that's fine. And then when we look at the Cardinals fantasy production, let's make our pick real quick. But I love being able to not worry about running back at all. I kind of like Jaden Reed here. Also Wandale, but I'm going to go Jaden Reed for the upside. He just has such spike week potential in best ball. That's a bit more appealing. So I'll take Jaden Reed. But back to the Drew Petzing acquisition by Detroit. The Cardinals offense was actually pretty fantasy relevant under Jacoby Brissett. With Kyler, that shit was just weird. Kyler was holding everyone back. Michael Wilson exploding under Brissett is such an indictment of Kyler Murray. So I'm willing to write off any of the bad offense of Arizona with Petzing and Kyler and really just look at Brissett's fantasy value and what it meant for everyone. Brissett comps, kind of similar to Goff. He has a little bit of mobility, but not much. That's not what you're game planning with Brissett. And then Goff is just great in the pocket, has a lot of speed in that roster. I think it'll work out. I think it'll be okay. It's not going to be Ben Johnson level, but I think it'll be okay. And then I also believe in the Isaac Tesla year 2 breakout. I think he's going to be good. I also think Sam Laporta is going to be really good given how Trey McBride was used. So Laporta, if he's healthy, that's going to generate a lot of success. I'm in on Amon-Ra in round 1. And then I'm also not envisioning Jameson Williams to like fully disappear. He's volatile at times, he disappears, but I think his contributions really, really solidify Goff. And then Gibbs also catches passes. So the floor with Goff, with the circumstances at OC, I think it's just good that Dan Campbell doesn't have to have everything on his plate. When you're the head coach and play caller, you can miss some stuff. So I think it's good that responsibility is being divvied up, given to someone else. I think Petzing will look better in Detroit than he did in Arizona. And then the cherry on top, the reason why I think Goff and the Lions are actually going to have a major bounce back in fantasy is the fact that they lost their division. They finished 4th in their division. That means they have a 4th place schedule. They get all of the bad teams instead of first place teams. Like last year when they won the division, they had to face every other NFC division winner and also some division winners from the AFC. There's some weird scheduling when you win your division. Your schedule's much harder. They lost their division at 9-8. They are going to face bottom of the barrel teams and had a winning record last year. They are going to have the glow up that the Patriots just had because their schedule is going to be one of the easiest in the league based on that metric. I'm not fully memorized on who their full opponent list is, but just by having a 4th place schedule, that's going to help them considerably. So I like Goff quite a bit. Emmett Johnson's interesting, but if I'm going to take him, I'll pull him up later. There's also Casey Concepcion. I have not drafted Concepcion yet, so let's do it just for the vibes. Fun to say Concepcion. But first name is Kevin. Got a dope afro. Played for North Carolina State and Texas A&M. All-American. And last year he had 9 receiving touchdowns for Texas A&M. So hit the portal. We are on the clock again. We could go Fernando Mendoza, but it's right at ADP, not my preferred direction. I'm going to take a swing on Tyreek Hill. Let's go Tyreek Hill. Got injured mid-season. With the way players are bouncing back from these injuries, it's worth the upside. But back to Concepcion. I like prospects that enter as a junior. That's always a good sign. He hit the portal and went to Texas A&M. They got a lot of money, so that's also a good sign. As a rookie for North Carolina State, had 71 catches, 839 yards, and 10 touchdowns in 13 games. Took a dip in year 2, not ideal, but once he went to a much better conference, much better competition, he did break out. 61 catches, 919 yards, 9 touchdowns, and I believe when you have a bold number on this website, that indicates like you led the conference in that stat. I could be wrong, but I am sure that whenever something is bolded, it's like very, very high ranking compared to his peers on this website. So that's good. Those stats are pretty solid. And then he's also getting some solid hype. So I haven't taken him yet in the 11th round, pick 129. What was he off the board? What's his ADP? Wide receiver 58 off the board and my 5th on my roster. So I'm wide receiver needy. We're at the bottom of like starting names. So no need to get like too picky. And even though I don't know much about rookies, I'm willing to take a shot. But I do think this level of the draft actually has some awesome value receivers. Tyreek Hill, obviously the elite potential, but coming off an injury, we don't know where he's going to play. I think it's possible he winds up with the Chiefs. If he's back in the Chiefs offense, that'll be lit. Don't think he's in Miami. And if he goes away from Tua, I think that can only help him. So I like Tyreek's upside. I'm willing to take a swing on him in round 12. Hard to find a more talented player than Tyreek Hill. But with the injury, definitely a gamble. I like Jalen McMillan at this price a lot. I like Pat Bryant at this price a lot. I think Josh Downs is also pretty compelling. I mean, at pick 122, we saw Juwan Jennings go. That's super cheap. Love that. I'm willing to gamble on Matthew Golden, especially if I have a quarterback like Love on the team. That's a stack that's interesting. We are on the clock. We took Ayuk in the last draft. Thankfully, I'm getting spared from drafting Ayuk again, but I will go Elijah Surratt. We mentioned Surratt has some good vibes as well. I'm willing to pull the trigger there. And his ADP is the same as Tyreek Hill. So he fell 7 picks, and I've been behind on receiver. So I'm willing to take it. I think this section of the draft has a lot of valuable names. Even the rookies, I'm willing to consider a little bit. But let me go to Surratt's page, give you a quick breakdown. Played for James Madison and then hit the portal, went to Indiana, and just won a national championship with Mendoza. So as a rookie, just like Concepcion, had a very successful breakout. 82 catches, 1,191 yards, almost 1,200 yards in 13 games as a rookie. That is hard to do, even in the Sun Belt Conference. That's impressive. Actually, he was a sophomore. Apologies. He was a sophomore at James Madison, but still pretty impressive. Then went to Indiana, had 957 yards last year, so actually a better season statistically with 8 touchdowns again. And then last year led all receivers in the conference with 15 receiving touchdowns. That is impressive. I am on the clock. We're not taking Kyler, that's for sure. Instead, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I'm going to take a gamble on Tank Dell. We are going like big game hunting on this team in terms of risky receivers. There's a lot of bagel risk with this slate of receivers, but then there's also like just truly elite upside as well. Like, who knows where the rookies will land? Who knows what happens with them? But I like some of their potential, definitely from a touchdown standpoint. I think that could work out. In half PPR best ball, touchdowns are very important. So with Surratt having a nose for the end zone, he does pique my interest quite a bit at this price. Like, this is late in the draft. This is round 13, especially with the exposure he got on television in the national championship, in the college football playoff. I could see an owner or, GM that wants to make a splash, like, let's make our fan base happy. Let's go with a name that like they can Google and have like some clear highlights that they might already know. Elijah Surratt, I think, in the 13th round, piques my interest in terms of value. I don't hate it. Not gonna lie. There are some interesting stats, like a game that we might try and spotlight in a later video is some of his game tape against teams like Iowa and Oregon. I think in these 2 games he really showcased like why he deserves to be considered like important at the position this year as a rookie. 7 catches, 156 yards and a touchdown, 821 and a touchdown in their 2 lowest scoring games of the season, except for this Ohio State matchup in the conference championship. They scored 13 in that week, but otherwise their 2 lowest scoring games were against Iowa and Oregon, and that's definitely like emblematic of like when you need it most, who are you going to? And he put up some of his best stats in those positions. So that I think is like a bit more emblematic of like, can this rookie show up in big spots? Is he ready for the bright lights? Is he ready for the moment? And I watched a little bit of game tape on these 2 games specifically that hopefully we can pull up on the channel later. Why I'm like somewhat comfortable clicking Elijah Surratt in the 13th round at pick 150. I don't think the price is high enough to worry about. But we have Goff. We're going to stack him with Isaac Tesla. Absolutely give me Tesla, a touchdown machine. So how many receivers do I have now? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. 7, 8, and with Amon-Ra we got 9. So I'm done at receiver. 9 receivers, I think, is the max for me at this point in time. I think 10 is overkill. But based on how I did it, where we didn't draft wide receiver 2 until Stephon Diggs round 7, 100% I require 7 receivers minimum. 8 I think is like still not enough. 9 I think is the right number for this strategy. We took 4 running backs in a row: Genty, Kyron, Travion, and DeAndre Swift, allowing us the luxury of just ignoring that position entirely and just taking swings on what I believe is the really meat and potatoes of the value at receiver in the ADP at the moment. I think we just ignore it too much to start the draft. And then there's just some really bold takes on crowded offenses that I'm not convinced are actually going to pan out in the middle rounds. Like, really, we feel that confident in Parker Washington and Alec Pierce above guys like DJ Moore and Xavier Worthy and Juwan Jennings. I'm not so sure that that's like a lock to work out at this point in time. They're interesting picks. I don't want to dismiss them, but I'm not convinced it's a lock. Actually, I'll go David Njoku. Nope, timed out. We took quarterback. We took Michael Penix. That's fine. Right at ADP, and we want a third quarterback. Michael Penix, I believe, will be the Falcons starter. I'll take Penix, but typically I prefer to stack Penix with someone. So maybe not my favorite pick I've made at quarterback so far, but a fine value. Like, when you consider we're drafting Jared Goff as our quarterback 2 already in round 9, the position's actually pretty steamed up this year compared to last year. So Penix, we know, has a job, some security, some injury concerns though, and definitely a chance that he's actually behind Kirk Cousins. But I don't think so. I don't think that'll happen. But that is a risky pick. Not going to lie, that is a risky pick. I have not made it before tonight, so probably not going to see me make it for a while, but I did get a little bit caught off guard with the 20-second pick clock. Instead, I was comfortable going... there was somebody else I was trying to slot in there, but maybe I shouldn't say, because he might still be available. After I took Penix, we saw McCarthy, Mims, Sampson, Trey Tucker, Keaton Mitchell, Terrence Ferguson, Zachariah Branch, David Njoku, Caleb Johnson. Wanted Njoku. I think I should have taken Njoku there. But Njoku gets injured a lot. Have I drafted a tight end? I have not. Oh, fuck. That's why I like my receiving core so much. I've ignored tight end entirely. So, fuck me. That was dumb. That's 100% the position of necessity. We have 4 picks left. Running back and tight end is the way to go. And I need 3 tight ends and 1 running back. So at this point, oh my God. I totally thought I had a good tight end on this team. Fuck. We're going Gunnar Helm. Shit. This team might suck, but if there's one position I don't care to punt entirely, it's tight end. That's the only position I think you can get away with punting. But I really fucked up grabbing Penix there over a tight end. Jamie recommending we go Sinnott. Took Dyke because I love lesbians. Who doesn't? Sinnott as a sleeper. For sure, I'll consider Sinnott again. But Peanut Punch says, find myself passing on wide receiver often in 6-7 just because there are guys I like almost as much in the next few rounds. Yeah, it doesn't feel like the position is so flat, and I don't think it's pinned down correctly as of this moment. Like, I think there's so much recency bias on some of these names. There's a lot of neglected options. But tight end is still a priority for me. So might go Elijah Arroyo. Shit. We took Elijah Arroyo. behind AJ Barner possibly, but also factored in considerably and was like targeted down the field. Like had some deep shots before he got hurt. Also second round draft capital on Arroyo. I don't think he's going to disappear, but totally could not work out. I might just grab 4 tight ends here. I might have screwed the pooch too bad. Wow. I was so convinced I had a tight end on this team. Yeah, I thought I had like Tucker Kraft or someone. Holy shit. That was dumb. Yeah, should have taken like Hunter Henry or Juwan Johnson instead of maybe Tyreek Hill. You live and you learn. Only $3. Who cares? Watch me still make it into the next round. Maybe not the 6th, like some of those guys more. Who's going in the 6th? Round 6, we have Harrison, Metcalf, Evans, Sutton, Cardell Tate, Romadunze. Yeah, round 6 still has some good options. But once we hit like Metcalf, Brian Thomas area, there's some fingers being crossed. I don't know if you know for sure that pick is actually going to hit. Like, the Jags are so crowded. The Jags have Brian Thomas, Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers, and Travis Hunter. You know, like they are valuable, but the ball could be moving around a lot. Like there's a lot of hype on Brenton Strange as well. There's a lot of mouths to feed in Jacksonville. Not saying they're not valuable at all, but that's a little bit risky to have it so heavy early on. Because like I still feel like round 6, 7 is still kind of early, especially given how many running backs are going in the top 5 rounds. Yeah, like Juwan Jennings feels like one of the best values at the position. I think he'll probably stay in San Francisco. I know he's a free agent, but if you're telling me he stays with the Niners, watch him move up like 3 rounds in a week. Boy, my tight end room is terrible. Just disgusting. We have to scroll down if there's anyone that like, because I don't know any of the rookies. I don't know that shit. Especially at tight end. I've not looked at any rookie tight end, so not gonna lie to you, tell you like, oh yeah, I trust Eli Stowers. I know nothing about Eli Stowers. Fuck it. We're going Ben Sennett. We are really just sending it at tight end. Young, yet to break out, hoping that one of these guys saves me. I like Gunnar Helm. I'll be honest. I feel okay with Gunnar Helm, especially because Chigo Conko is a free agent and Helm was starting to break out already. Brian Dable also uses tight end enough. But Peanut Punch says Stowers looks good. Okay, maybe, you know, I might just grab Stowers as the 4th. Do we hate this build? A 3-4-9-4 with Genty, Kyron, Travion, and Swift? It could work out. I mean, around 20 running back isn't really like going to save me. You know, like there's some names I kind of like down here, but I don't know if that's actually going to help me as much as a 4th tight end on this build. We went hyper fragile, heavily committed. This team is probably not going to make it. Like, this team feels really fucking risky. I think it might be worth it. If Peanut Punch likes Stowers, fuck it. He fell. What are his stats? Moved around 5 years. Okay. You know what? 769 yards last year. Let's do it. We're going with 4 tight ends. I do not recommend this team at all. This is a weird, odd fucking team. Did not plan for this at all. Would not recommend, but let's see how it is. Quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels stacked with Ben Sennett. I forgot. Let's go. We got the Sennett Daniels stack. We are living. Second quarterback, Jared Goff, stacked up with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Isaac Tesla. I like it. Third quarterback is Michael Penix unstacked. I hate it. Terrible pick. I fucked up. Running backs, elite but fragile. Ashton Genty, Kyron Williams, Travion Henderson, and DeAndre Swift. I think it can work, but obviously if I had a fifth, we're in better shape. But, you know, we're smoking. We're still way too early to know what's good and what's bad. Tried it. Not sure I like it, but I think it could have been better. I think it could have been tooled a little bit better, but I don't think it's dead in the water. I don't recommend it, but I don't think it's bad enough to lose automatically. It's bad, but it's not bad enough to lose automatically. Our tight end room waited for the last 4 rounds. We go Gunnar Helm, Elijah Arroyo, Ben Sennett, and Eli Stowers. Let's hope for the best, but absolutely the riskiest strategy you could implement. I mean, maybe not with 4, but at least I got it out of my system. The Band-Aid has been ripped, and now we know what not to do. But let's see if this receiving core redeems it at all. We got Amon-Ra St. Brown as the centerpiece, our focal point, going to be in the roster a lot. With Stephon Diggs, hoping that this year is just as good as last, but I kind of regret that pick, not in love with it in hindsight. DJ Moore, I really liked. I liked the value a lot on DJ Moore here. Even if he goes to a different team, I like it a lot. Then we took Jaden Reed in the 10th. Some elite upside on Jaden Reed. Hopefully he can stay healthy, but should have some touchdown potential. Casey Concepcion with some rookie dart throw potential. Let's hope the landing spot is ideal. We go Tyreek Hill, maybe a Chief, even if he's not. Always some high upside, but off an injury at his age, who knows? Speed's so important for Tyreek. If it's gone, then this is a bad pick. But given the price in the 12th round, I'll take a gamble on it every now and then. Elijah Surratt, a rookie I'm comfortable clicking at this point in time, but might just be my lack of knowledge and just the recency bias, his exposure with Indiana, but somewhat decent enough stats. I think touchdowns aren't the worst bet to make with Surratt in the 13th round. And then we go Tank Dell, just like Tyreek Hill. Who the fuck knows, but some high potential if he's fully healthy. Doubtful that is the case, but definitely worth a swing. And then Isaac Tesla to complete the stack, and that's our team. I don't know, man. This is super fucking risk. This is just ultimate risk. Up and down the board. So wish me luck. I doubt it, but worth a shot. Peanut Punch says PPR Tyler and Steve talked Stowers up today on their stream. I did hear that a little bit. I don't know enough personally to be able to like confidently confirm, but yeah, that's a good sign. That's definitely a good sign. So thank you for the reminder on that. And then if he lands well, we're in maybe competitive shape. But Jamie wants me to roast him. Let's take a look at Jamie's team. We already told you you drafted Drake May too high. I believe Drake May's ADP is a little too high. Paired that up with Stroud later on, and then Rodgers. I do think Rodgers will play, so I don't hate the Rodgers in the final round. But if I am going to take Rodgers, I want my second quarterback to be better than Stroud. Like, I think I'd rather have gone like Purdy over like Woody Marks there. I think if he grabbed a quarterback instead of Woody Marks and then grabbed a running back instead of Stroud, I would like that team a little bit better. And I think the Rodgers pick would be a little bit less like critical for your success. So quarterback, I'm not in love with the strategy. I think Drake May's a little overpriced. Stroud goes this late for a reason. I think his job security is also a question mark. Um, I could see him get benched for Davis Mills if they are not like winning the division midseason. I don't think his playoff performance helped him with job security. But Rodgers could also be like the steal of the draft. Rodgers, if he's a Viking, could also like win the league. Like I doubt it, but it's possible he's like a top 15 quarterback going undrafted. It's definitely possible. At running back, you're definitely in safer shape than I am with 6. But Gibbs, Jeremiah Love, Josh Jacobs, an elite start. We mentioned maybe pass on Woody Marks for a different quarterback there. Woody, I don't know what to make of him. Like that Texans backfield is completely up for grabs. I could see them draft someone. I could see Mixon possibly come back. I doubt it, but it's possible. And then I also think Jawar Jordan is not a name to dismiss either. Nick Chubb, who knows, could be in the mix as well. Woody Marks at the moment is the front runner, but I don't think his job security is safe at all. Kimani, I mean, if Hampton stays healthy, I don't see really any great value for Kimani. But with McDaniel coming in, the handcuff appeal is totally worth it. So at that price, around 14, one of the more expensive handcuffs, but a fine click. I've definitely picked him as well in the past. But if you're in the market for running back there, that's fine. But I also could see him be really not that valuable. You also have Ray Davis in the second to last round or something like that. That's fine. But last year I was all in on Ray Davis, and as long as James Cook doesn't get hurt, you're not getting any value at a Ray Davis. But again, handcuff potential totally could blow up, could be a name that you need. So not a bad swing. Having 6, definitely safer than my team with 4. But at receiver, I think this is where you are definitely lacking a little bit. Wide receiver 1 is Terry. That's not that inspiring. Also reached on Terry a little bit. I think at this point in time, I think I'd rather have Waddle than Terry. But Terry's fine. Terry's not atrocious. Just as wide receiver 1, pretty risky. Marvin Harrison should be a good pick in round 6 where you got him. I don't think that's a bad click at all. Brian Thomas, some elite upside, but we mentioned the Jags are a little crowded, and I don't really know how confident I can be in drafting like any particular one of them. But I do think Thomas is probably the one I want the most. So now that he's going where he was in his rookie year, he's probably a good pick. He's probably a fine pick. Excuse me. But absolutely risky. He was like kind of injured, but he's just so crowded there. I could see him not hit the lineup as often as you think. But when he does, he definitely can go for like 25 points. I still believe in him and his potential. But all of his best games came with Mac Jones, not Trevor Lawrence. There's some weird chemistry, odd vibes with Trevor Lawrence. Then you took Kayshon Boutte to stack with May. I think that's a great pick. But at wide receiver 4, it speaks to the lack of depth. So that I think is pretty risky given like how long you waited for your wide receiver 1. Don't love that Boutte is just your number 4. You also have Travis Hunter. So like one of these Jags receivers I think is not going to work out. That's my concern on that. I kind of don't like drafting multiple Jags receivers if they're not stacked. That's my current take on it. I think it's hard to know where the ball's going to go. And then Hunter has like such a low floor. He's very risky. But Chimeri DK and Ayamanor should have a year 2 breakout potential with a good OC and Dable. So not going to hate on that too much, but I do think the draft could derail that. I could see them draft someone really high. They need receiver talent desperately, bro. So that I think could be a big problem there, but they're going so late. It's worth a swing. And then you also have Rashad Bateman. Bateman's going late. Wow. Bateman that late. That's fine. I like the Bateman pick, actually. Decent value for like his potential touchdown upside. Tight end, pretty solid with Gadsden, Strange, and Ferguson. But I think your depth at tight end and running back kind of really plays to the detriment of receiver. I do not like the receiver room, Jamie. That's my big concern. But otherwise, I think the team is okay. Otherwise, I think it's okay. Last year, I hated the Bateman pick. Yeah, but it was like 10 rounds higher. You know, like there's a big difference between Bateman at 110 and Bateman at 227. You got him 100 picks later, man. Like, yeah, of course I'm gonna like it more. Isn't Diggs my top receiver? No, it's Amon-Ra. Diggs is my receiver too. But Peanut Punch says, wonder where May's ADP settles in a couple of months. Haven't been able to get myself to take him yet, but don't want to full fade. I would agree. I don't want to full fade him, but last year I loved him. He was my most drafted quarterback last year, and he was going in round 10, round 11. So that's a big jump to round 5. Quarterback 3 off the board. I believe he's top 10. I do not believe he's top 5 guaranteed. So to draft him at 3 is a big investment that I'm not convinced will work out, because I do think some of his success was schedule related. And he also did not run as much as he did the year before. He can run. He's been doing it a lot more in the playoffs, but on the season, Drake May was not as much of a runner as he was the year prior. Like, if we go to the overview, rushing stats are down here. Where are they? Here we go. In 2024, he had 421 rushing yards. Last year, he had 450, and you might say his rushing stats went up. Yeah, but his games also went up dramatically. In terms of yards per game, they dipped. He had 32 rushing yards per game in year 1. Last year, it was 26.5. And that's still pretty high. I don't want to dismiss it, but it's not as, like, elite as you might think. There's a lot of quarterbacks going after Drake May that are going to offer more rushing stats than he does. Like Jalen Hurts for sure will. I think Jaden Daniels will for sure. I would say Justin Herbert and Jackson Dart are going to have more rushing stats. Even Caleb Williams might have more rushing stats, let alone Patrick Mahomes. Like, I don't want to dismiss 26 rushing yards per game, but that's a lot closer to Brock Purdy than it is Jackson Dart. So I think it's a little bit inflated just because he's killing it and in the Super Bowl. But I don't want to fully dismiss him entirely. I agree with Peanut Punch. Not dismissing him entirely, but I expect his price to come down. And by comparison to the rest of the pack, I think pick 51 is a little pricey for my personal taste. A little pricey for me. But if he never falls down, then inevitably I'll just have to take him because I want the exposure. If that's the price you have to pay, then I guess, but I expect it to come down. I'd rather go running back in the 5th round, knowing how quickly that position dries up. Like, the difference between DeAndre Swift and even, like, Baishal Tootin. You know what I mean? Like, Tootin's going pick 72, and it took Swift at 57. That is a massive gap compared to Drake May and Joe Burrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still really confident in Joe Burrow the next round, whereas, like, I'm so much more confident in Swift than I am Baishal Tootin. And that's even, like, less of a gap in terms of overall picks. So, you asked me to roast you, Jamie. That's what I'm doing. But yes, I do understand he ended as QB2. Never had a good wide receiver option. My number 2 receiver is relying on Drake May. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. You asked me to roast it. Okay. Yeah, but I also did say I hated the Diggs pick. Anyways, Peanut Punch didn't like May as a player, but at this point, I'd rather take the later guys that can rush some. Yes, it's all about price. We don't hate the player. We hate the price. And sometimes we love the price. This year, I do not like the price on Drake May. Last year, I fucking loved it. But we're going to do one more draft. We're going to do one more little board and try to redeem ourselves because the first draft wasn't my favorite. Damn it, we got a location error. But I didn't count it down, so maybe that's a good thing. I did not let you know in advance. So this will be the last one for sure. Gonna call it done after this, but I'll pull it up on the phone. And it's a good thing I've been operating on the phone because the location error is definitely live today. So we're in the 20-second pit clock on the little board $3 entry. If you want to hop in, you can. I will be hitting the button in 10 seconds. So if you would like to join me, hit that button right now. And I will join in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it should be synced up pretty well. I am the first person in this lobby. That is not a good sign. So there's definitely plenty of spots if you would like to take one. But if you joined before I hit the button, perhaps you are not in the same lobby if you wanted to be. That is a bummer. I hate being one of the last people in the pod. I also hate being the first person in the pod because it usually means something switched. But is this a little board? Yes, this is a little board. Jamie too fucked up to draft again. No worries. Green bean, no big board. Tonight, I think based on how badly those first two went, I don't want to spend another $10. I'm gonna do a little board on this one, but tomorrow I will do 2 big boards. I promise tomorrow I will do 2 big boards. Tonight we're doing 2 little boards instead. Our first draft was a big, the second one was a little, and then I felt like I just wasn't good enough to feel confident in doing a big board. But yeah, for $3, I'll be a bit more inclined to practice with the little board. But I only have 20 of these opportunities. This is my third one, so I don't want to do too many in any singular stream. But at least tonight, the confidence level is low. We're gonna get better. We're gonna have more practice. We're gonna get better, and I think the better investment to just improve and just be more familiar with the board is in the lower buy-in. But 3 spots left. This has been filling somewhat quickly, but with a little time left to spare, we'll take one last hit from the pipe. And if you would like to join me, you can. Smoke it if you got it. This drop means I'm about to hit the pipe. Let's go. Let's go. Yo, Leia's here. Leia is here. 1 spot left. 1 spot left. And let's let her say hi. Yo. Say hello to the people. There it is. She's hungry, so I will give her some food. We get pick 8. We are in the 8 slot. I'll be right back. All right. Yo, enjoy yourself, Peanut Punch. It's 10 p.m. Definitely can help you go to sleep. Uh, legalize it. Cheers, man. Thank you. And 100%. It's about fucking time this shit is legal in all 50 states. Free the people. They should be able to smoke weed if they want to. Jamie says give her some catnip to get her higher than giraffe pussy. You know, she's probably already getting enough secondhand. She's probably up there already. She's in the house. Or else. It's a threat. Green Bean also joining in. Welcome. Are you in this lobby, Green Bean? I see legalize it. Also in here. Big Game is also in here. Green Bean right behind me. Yes, Green Bean is in here. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I recognize Luke Dog, but perhaps not. I could be mistaking that for Fantasy Dog. Yeah, I think I am. We took Amon-Ra the last one. We'll take Christian McCaffrey. It feels like a risky pick, but I mean, when he hits, he's worth it. Let's not pretend like you don't want any Christian McCaffrey. But another year older. The Niners still have the electrical system near their field that's causing everyone to go tear their ACL. Definitely a risky pick. I wish he wasn't really going in the first round. Would love him in the second, but happily going to take running back early on this one. And let's mix in Christian McCaffrey. I have a lot of James Cook. We just got Genty in the second round, so no need to take him. And then Achane, I think, is going a little bit high for the 108 slot. So, yeah, give me Christian McCaffrey here. Not going to get cute. Just going to grab top of ADP. Especially in the first round, that's always justified. Always a fine decision. Could it blow up in your face? Absolutely, though. I could 100% see that happening. The Substation is my favorite random NFL story in a long time. I love a good conspiracy theory. I have to say. Love it. Also, like, I'm like one of the wired headphones guys, partly just because I don't want to pay for extra stuff, but the EMFs definitely could be a factor. Who knows? But you really have no idea. It could just be Kyle Shanahan grinding them into the dirt, treating them like an old Chevy pickup, just getting as much mileage out of it as possible. That's also a factor. But this is interesting. We have Trey McBride falling a little. I have not done an early tight end team yet. I wonder if I'm going to hate it. You know what? Let's try it. Haven't done it. If there's one tight end I will do it with, it is Trey McBride. But if you're telling me Kyler comes back, then this is a terrible pick. If Kyler's their guy, then this is a terrible, terrible pick. But I've seen McBride go plenty in the first round, so to get him mid round 2 feels somewhat nice. I haven't seen many Christian McCaffrey, Trey McBride combos yet. But if you quote me last year, I hated drafting Brock Bowers at this price. And typically I don't like my builds when I grab an early tight end. So this is emblematic of the reason I'm not spending $10 again on a big board on the live stream. I'm still not fully sure in what I'm doing. And going CMC McBride absolutely feels like a combo that can blow up and be terrible. Like, could absolutely be elite, could definitely be great. I'm happy to try it, but I could also see this be gross as fuck. Like, McCaffrey could go down by week 3 for the year. Trey McBride could only score like 2 touchdowns again with Kyler. Um, it could also be that CMC is yet again the RB1 and scores like 20 touchdowns. And we could also get 20 touchdowns out of McBride. He could be just as good as he was with Brissett. That's also on the table. So worth the risk. We'll see how it goes. But I'm more inclined to grab a running back here than receiver. But if Rashi falls, maybe I'll do it. With an ADP of 25.9, I'm at pick 32. I really doubt it. But this team has already grabbed 2 receivers, so they might pass. There's a chance that Baby Gorilla passes as well. But no, he goes Kenneth Walker. There's a shot we get Rashi Rice. That'd be a good value. Damn. I mean, he's not going to get suspended. Yeah, 7 picks past ADP in round 3. I'll mix him in. I'll take him. Late round 3, Rashi Rice. I'm willing to roll the dice. Poet, and we didn't know it. But, okay. This is interesting. I still don't know how much I'm enjoying this combination, but so far this is interesting. Bill Bratsky smells like Luke Dog inside the van. He's there at the 109, 111. Goes with Amon-Ra, Justin Jefferson, Josh Allen. Still has yet to draft a running back. Ladies first has quadruple clicked the running back. And damn, Luke Dog goes Lad McConkey. Lad is not a pick I feel super safe with in the 4th round. Lad at this price and Luther Burden right behind him scare me quite a bit. Some high potential could totally work out, but very risky picks, if you ask me. Green Bean goes Colston Loveland. I mean, if he didn't get hurt, Garrett Wilson was kind of on fire for a while. Round 4, Garrett Wilson. I might regret my running back room pretty shortly, but let's mix it in. We're getting unique, at least. A little unique, because I've only seen Garrett Wilson on this side of the board on the like bookend most of the time. Like he's usually around picks 10, 11, and 12. And then I've seen Rashi around picks like 1, 2, and 3 a lot so far. So at least to just mix up players on opposite ends of the board, that's the main reason I'm just sticking to the top of ADP with Garrett Wilson here. If he's healthy, then this is a top 10 receiver. So, all right. I would agree, Peanut Punch. This is a fun start. I still don't know how I feel about it, but I think it's a fun start as well. Absolutely some potential. My cat is just sitting right on the screen. Does not give a fuck that I'm using it. And that's typically how cats operate. They don't give a fuck about your situation. Should I put it here? Maybe I should put it here. Yeah, I'll put it here. The chat box is a little too small. But love to see receiver off the board. That's not the position I'm like dying to draft right now. Lamar off the board. Drake May goes to big game again. Didn't I talk you off the ledge, bro? Go ahead, but remember the price you can get on Burrow in the next round. You have Jamar Chase. I would just... It's too late. Too late. Honestly, double tapping early quarterback doesn't I don't hate it. Damn, running back got brutal fast. fucking fast. Okay, then I'm just going to take who I think is the best pick. I'm going to go Jalen Waddle. We're kind of chucking running back. I'm going to hate that later on, but I think Waddle's a really good pick in the 5th. There's a discount on Terry at the moment, but I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm drafting Jaden Daniels again. We just took him, and I didn't really love it. So if I stack up Terry, I'm going to feel compelled to hit the Daniels button. I don't want to do that back-to-back. Give me Waddle for sure. This team is interesting. I say I like this team more than the first two. And that is not what I would have expected, telling me that I only have one running back through the first 5 rounds. When I started this live stream, I didn't think that would be a good strategy. So at the very least, I'm going to have to circle back on that position fast. But yeah, this is interesting. Yo, my cat is right in the middle of the screen. He does not give a fuck. There we go. There you go. There you go. She's gonna flash her rectum soon. Watch. But here we go. I mean, if this team passes on running back, I'm gonna be shocked. But so far, this turn is going in my favor. Wow. Holy I mean, I get it. Terry fell dramatically there, but Team 11 still doesn't have a running back through the first 6 rounds and is willing to wait the long turn yet again. Holy shit. I mean, I get it a little bit. We're kind of slim pickings, but like, can you afford to pass on running back? I don't think so. I'm going to take Jalen Warren. I'm going to fade Ramondre at this price. I don't like Ramondre. I'm not a Ramondre guy. And I know Warren has an ADP of 73, so there's a chance I get him at 80, but I don't think it's wise. There's another team at the 102 that does not have a running back. And then all the teams that only have 2 running backs so far, I think are also going to hit that button. So I pushed it long enough. We're going to go Jalen Warren. Yo, Who Hames, what's up, man? Welcome in. Good to see you. What do you think of this team so far? We have Christian McCaffrey at the 108, followed by Trey McBride at pick 17. We got Rashee Rice to fall, and then we go Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, and Jalen Warren. What do you think of this team so far? Interesting. I have yet to do one with like this few running backs early on. Odd, interesting team. Didn't realize you streamed this late. In general, I won't be doing it. I do sometimes. We started the stream at like 8:15, so we've been going like 2 hours already. But it's my first one of the season. So wanted to get it done this week and was a little bit busier earlier in the day and just kind of like lost track of time. So started a bit late. Was watching other people's streams and still gathering information. So yeah, a little bit late tonight. Probably going to go a little earlier tomorrow, more midday because I have some free time. So yeah, look out for maybe like an AM on the West Coast type of stream, like maybe like 11 a.m. perhaps. But it'll be mixing up every so often. I'm going to be doing it at random times. Haven't pinned down a schedule at all yet, but yeah, should be fun. I'm going to go running back again. I think the upside of Blake Corum is worth it. We took Kyron earlier, and I think that's fine, but there's this team behind me, Luke Dog, with no running back yet, and I also feel like the team at 12 can also still take one. And I just don't think Corum's going to come back, but I feel like I'm still going to like my options at other positions in the next round. Like, I think it's still so early that like you can't be like just a pawn of the ADP. Like you got to read the board, and if there's a run at a position you need that you are anticipating, you need to get ahead of it. So that's my logic on reaching on Quorum and Warren there. Um, Interesting. He goes Jadarian Price. Yeah, reach is 20 picks to grab Jadarian Price. I know Luke Dog is going to be hunting RBs soon, and the whole board is going to be hunting running back. So I just put myself into this position. Um, Jamie nearly took Quorum last pick. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one that was interested in running back. ADP does not matter, especially in February. Fuck the ADP. Just take who you don't think will be there that you really want. That's my take on it. We're not gonna take Diggs again. Instead, we're gonna grab Mahomes. Let's stack him up. Hell yeah. Mahomes is the QB1 for a while. Mahomes was doing well for a while. Um, Obviously the injury, but watch him get like Tyreek Hill. Watch him get just some new piece. Xavier Worthy's not going to run into Kelsey week 1 and bust up his shoulder. That could also help him. Like Mahomes, I don't think will miss much time, if any. I think there's probably a good shot he's available week 1. So off the board, he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Quarterback 12? That's worth it. That's worth it. Especially with the Rashi Rice stack. Yeah, I'm in at Mahomes at this price. For sure. Last year, I was kind of out on Mahomes. It cost me. But he wasn't good in the playoffs. He got hurt. Obviously, not the piece you needed. But up until that point, he was definitely a smash pick at value. And this is like where he was going last year. Meanwhile, the position is way more expensive overall. So, yeah, I'm going to be optimistic, especially when I have a Rashi Rice team already. Xavier Worthy off the board. Would have loved to see him circle back. That's okay. But, yeah, Mahomes feels like a very affordable stacking option. And even naked, even unstacked, I think Mahomes is a solid pick here at QB12 off the board. Probably not as much rushing value this year, but still an elite upside swing, 100%. DJ Moore circles back. Oh, please. Baby Gorilla. Thank you. Wow. That feels nice. Pick 104. I mean, to get him 9 picks past ADP, when I just mentioned earlier, I thought he was a great value in the 7th and 8th round. Like, again, I guess I'll just say it one more time, but like Luther Burden goes at pick 39, Rome Odunze at pick 58, Colston Loveland at pick 40, DeAndre Swift at 54. DJ Moore, 50 picks past DeAndre Swift, feels like if there's one guy we're sleeping on in Chicago in the ADP so far, it's DJ Moore. And even if he changes teams, I still like his potential. Compared to other names around here, like, hell yeah. A little bit risky, but still in his prime, not overrated too much. I'll take the cheapest Chicago Bear, please. But QB is drying up soon. Gets pretty thin after this. We'll see what happens, but if I don't get who I want at receiver, it'll be okay. A lot of good receiving talent here. Really solid, but there's kind of weird vibes at quarterback in this lobby, and a lot of other teams that only have one. Baker has top 5 upside, so we'll go Baker. What number is he off the board? Quarterback 18? Baker's totally worth it. Baker can put up top 5 numbers. Damn, Baker is a steal. Holy shit. Who's their offensive coordinator, though? That's an important question. They hired Zach Robinson from the Falcons, formerly of the Rams before that. Is that good? I think it's fine. Could be better, but I think it's fine. The crew is here. Thank y'all for showing up tonight. Sorry I've been MIA in January. I got fucking tired. Grinding, but just a little burnt out and like needed some time away from the screen. Editing takes it out of you, man. You can really spend far too much time behind a screen when you have to edit every day, but not complaining. Very appreciative of everyone who watches the channel. Had a great year, a lot of growth and optimism, and a lot of changes. We've tried some new things out. Y'all gave me the confidence to like keep trying new things, and I feel like the where we're at with like some of the formatting on some of the videos and like graphics, I want to make them better, but I feel like we made some steps in the right direction this year. Appreciate everyone who joined the channel, whether it was this last year or even before that. This year was so much fun. I had a blast this year, and I owe it all to you. Thank y'all so much for the support. But we're on the clock. I think Booty's not bad. We'll take Booty, but you can go in many directions here, and it's not that bad. Golden is tempting, but might also suck. Might be really bad. Sometimes he was open and just couldn't bring it down. Just meanwhile, Booty brought it down almost all the time. Yo, the cat keeps coming in. Hello. What? I know. Fuck! Damn it! Oh, Jalen McMillan off the board. I missed on Godwin. I should have taken McMillan. I don't know the ADP well enough to think that people are going to snipe me on McMillan. But damn, I wanted McMillan. He goes at the 11-12 turn. That's a bummer. That is unfortunate. Should have taken McMillan instead of Booty. Dobbins on the board. I might go Dobbins, but Golden keeps falling. You know what? I think I'm going to go Goddard and then just call it a day at tight end. We have 2 elite tight ends. I mean, maybe Goddard isn't elite, but like his ceiling is elite. He doesn't stay consistent, but like Goddard is one of the few names that can drop like 20 points at tight end, and like whether that's your flex or tight end, like that wins you the week a lot of times. So Goddard, hyper valuable. And then just learning from the last draft, I don't want to get stuck with no tight end until I hit Gunnar Helm. So like the last draft was just such a punitive experience by passing on tight end. I am compensating for it with this one. We took McBride at the 205, and then we take Goddard at the 1205, and now we're just done at tight end. That feels pretty solid. Not bad. Jamie wanted us to smash the booty. I mean, you never regret smashing the booty, but for the stack, I wish I had McMillan. People expecting Monty to be released, which I think could be a benefit. That'd be interesting. Where would he go? I would worry about him if he was on another team, because touchdowns are really the only like benefit for him, and that's very dependent on like his role in Detroit. A few episodes of Fallout. I do not watch Fallout. I'm not sure. Peanut Punch likes Fallout. I don't watch that many things these days. I've been tapping out. I used to be a huge film and TV aficionado, connoisseur, whatever you want to call it. I used to live and breathe in that type of zone, and then one day it just I lost a lot of attention span for like live TV that isn't sports. But every now and then I do get like hooked on streaming something, just binging something. But ooh, Dobbins comes back. That's dope. Sweet. Hell yeah. Dobbins is still young. I know he gets hurt every year and like it's inevitable, but when he's in, he looks good. Last 2 years have really cemented how he's like still has a lot of talent. And odds are I think he might just go back to Denver and have a really solid role, but yeah, great numbers running the football. What was his yards per carry? Last year his yards per carry was 5 yards per carry. On his career it's still 5.2, and then he just turned 27 in December. He's still young. He's still in his prime. Dobbins is a sneaky free agent acquisition, and he's going after guys like Charbonnet, who's just tore his ACL, Kamara, who also going to miss a ton of time, is much older. I think Dobbins has proven enough last 2 years where like for him to fall back to me here at the 1308 when I almost took him at the 1205, I'm very happy with that. I think that's a good value on Dobbins. One of the names in this section of the draft I think is worth clicking. But obviously could just like tear his Achilles in week 1 and be a 0. So justifiable for him to be going this late. I think I would have gone Dobbins over Kamara, Jamie. I think I would have done that. Brooks off the board. I do think Juwan Johnson's a solid click here, but based on the tight ends I have, that's not the direction I'm going in at all. Did Kelsey like just get taken probably? Yeah, he just got taken. Damn, Ayuk fell so far. Oh my god. I'm taking Ayuk again. Fuck, am I really gonna do this again? Fuck. I can't help myself. I just can't. Watch it. I like that he doesn't have a contract. I like that he's going to have to prove himself. Immediately. God damn it. I know, man. Oh, it's bad. Oh, man. Someone's got to bite the bullet, you know. We got a lot of y'all in here. I'm sparing you from drafting Ayuk. Consider it a service that I offer to the rest of the community. I will fall on the Ayuk grenade at a higher rate than everyone else. Fuck. Here's the thing. He fell 20 picks. He also fell 20 picks. I did hold off for a little while. But Fuck. I think I think he might find his way to Washington. I think he'll finagle his way to play with Jaden Daniels. Because Debo's not a lock to stay. Debo's a free agent. I think Debo will leave. And Terry is getting older. Terry is like 31 this year. Like, I think his birthday is like right before the season kicks off. So, like, he's 30 and a half right now. I don't know what their cap situation is, but Ayuk is not going to get a lot of money. Ayuk is in a weird situation. He might have to take league minimum, but he is going to have to prove himself. And I believe if he goes to Washington, he's in an interesting spot to perform. Ridley's interesting, but I don't want to bet on him. I got so burned with Ridley last year. I'm kind of just done. He's old, and I have no idea where he's going to go. I'll just take Tesla, who I believe is going to break out. Peanut took a look at my exposures yesterday. Dobbins, the guy I highlighted, to take more of. Yeah, he feels like he's going too low. Because even if he goes back to Denver or like really anywhere, he's looked so good when he gets the opportunity. He really shines with it. And there was a chance that if they made the Super Bowl, he'd be playing this week. If they didn't lose Bo Nix, they might have beaten the Patriots. I mean, it's definitely possible. He might actually be active this week. So it's not a question of like, will he be healthy next season? He's healthy right now. Well, he was practicing and didn't get activated, but with the entire offseason, he'll be fine in September. So it's just a matter of where does he play. Yeah, that's exactly what she's doing. I should have listened to her. She knows best. She always knows best. But I'll take Tesla. We have Mahomes, Mayfield, only 4 running backs. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 receivers and 2 tight ends. We're done at tight end. We need quarterback. We need some running backs. We need running back pretty badly. I mean, if he might come back to Tampa, it's compelling, and then he always has like a spike week. He had 8 touchdowns last year. Fuck it, let's go Sean Tucker at a discount. He falls 18 picks, so not bad. At least we got a good value, but it's mainly because I have Mayfield and like I need a Buccaneer, but the stacking potential isn't really much. It's kind of like, you know, the argument is a week when Baker shits the bed, it might be because someone like Sean Tucker has like 3 touchdowns. There's an anti-bet type of kind of going on when we have a dip bad game at a Baker. It might be because Sean Tucker really does explode. Because Rachaad White is a free agent, in case you did not know. Odds are, if you're watching at this time, you probably do know about Rachaad White. But Tucker, much more likely, I think, to return to Tampa than Rachaad White. Yes. I would be remiss if I slept on J.K. Dobbins as much as I did this time last year. Like, until Dobbins signed with Denver, I was not drafting him anywhere near enough. So once he did and he flew up the board, I felt like I was just like, it was to my detriment to like chase him too much. I was sleeping on Dobbins too much last year. But not again. We got 7 receivers, and they're not bad. We got Rashi, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle. That's a pretty good trio. DJ Moore, Kayshon Boutte, Ayuk. I mean, as much as I don't love it, there's a reason I'm taking the swing. There's a reason why I still can't give up on him. But I'm going to go Kyle Williams. There's going to be some weird shakeup in that offense. But I'm realizing I have Keishon Booty as well. Maybe not the best pick to make to grab both when you don't have May. But like the thing about that team is like one week it's one guy and then the next week it's a completely different player that goes off, and they both have like deep shot upside. So for best ball purposes, I think Kyle Williams and Booty are the more valuable Patriots receivers to draft. High spike week value. Not much else, but it's best ball. We don't really care about a 8 or 9 point floor. We're looking for games with like 16 plus points. Everything else is kind of meaningless. Not entirely meaningless, but it's just not as important. Plus, we got an extra 2 rounds, so I can afford to take some swings. uh, Good luck, man. How many running backs did you take, Jamie? You got Keaton Mitchell, Rashad White, Kamara, Woody Marks, Dave Montgomery, Quinshawn, Derrick Henry. You got 7. Yeah, you should stop. 7's okay with 20 rounds, but 6 I think is kind of the sweet spot. Okay, I'm coming up on the clock here. I said I wasn't going to take another tight end, but that's probably the better value at this stage. Maybe I do take Kate Otten. Interesting. His touchdowns just are never good, though. F it. Caleb Johnson. We also have Jalen Warren. So, like, what if there's like a world where Kenneth Gainwell does not return? Jalen Warren is the man for like the first half of the year, and then that goes down week 12, and like Caleb Johnson finally gets the opportunity, and just like by necessity, does something. He's gonna have a role. I don't think they can afford to just like quit on a 3rd round pick. And I also feel like Aaron Rodgers may not return. He's either a Viking, a Steeler, or he retires. Odds are I don't think he'll be back. But if he's not back, then I think Caleb Johnson has a better path to get on the field. But it's gonna be weird. Definitely a risky pick, but a flyer I'm willing to sprinkle in. We have the Steelers backfield entirely, so that has some value. We have Christian McCaffrey, Blake Corum, J.K. Dobbins, and Sean Tucker. 2 picks left. 2 tight ends, Trey McBride and Dallas Goedert. I'm done. 8 receivers, Rashi, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, DJ Moore, Keishon Booty, Ayuk, Tesla, and Kyle Williams. I think I'm done. Running back still feels a little shaky, so I'm definitely taking one more. And then quarterback with Mahomes and Mayfield. Also, I think it's fine, but I think I could also benefit from one more, especially given Mahomes' injury status. I'm going to take Rodgers. We mentioned he could retire, but he could also be a Viking. That value would be much higher than it was last year. And even if he stays with the Steelers, I still think his value is okay. At this stage, I think he's one of the last remaining starters. I'm fine drafting Rodgers in one of the last 2 rounds. Past Kirk Cousins, I think he's more likely to start than Kirk Cousins is. I think he's more likely to start than Jacoby Brissett is. I think he's more likely to start than Mac Jones, who's also someone people draft super late. Maybe not Malik Willis, but Daniel Jones, perhaps. Yeah, I don't think it's egregious to be drafting Rodgers, but obviously risky. He's going this late for a reason. But um, after this next pick, we'll like we'll count the actually like starting quarterbacks that are locked in next year. Like there's not that many that I think are fully locked in. And as long as Rodgers does not retire, he is 100% locked in. He will play somewhere if he does not retire. So I'll take him. And then with our final pick, we're also interested in running back again. Jordan James was taken. Interesting. Okay. I will go with my like much different direction. Nah. No one speaks to me that much. We could go Kate Otten for the Baker stack, but it's not as exciting to me. I'm going to take someone that no one drafts ever. Jawar Jordan. I don't know if you were paying attention to the Texans' backfield at this point. He was not very utilized on the waiver wire. But Jawar Jordan, drafted in the 6th round, picked 205 overall by Houston, is a little old for a rookie. Technically, he's a year 2 player now. But he's 26 years old. And when he had the opportunity, did not look bad. Week 15, 15 carries, 101 yards. 2 receptions on 2 targets, another 17 yards. So 118 yards on 17 touches in week 15. The week after that, got another 15 carries and 5 targets, 5 catches. Not as effective, only 70 yards in this game. And this was against the Raiders. That was a weird game. But against Arizona, he had 118 yards on 17 touches. Like, I don't feel like the Texans know exactly what they're going to do as of today at running back. And like Woody Marks does not give me a lot of confidence to draft him in the 10th. We'll see what happens. Joe Mixon, that bridge may be burned. Like even if he does play again, I don't know if it'll ever be with the Texans again. I think he's getting cut. So right now, Jawar Jordan is on the roster, and they have shown a willingness to use him. No touchdowns for him, but behind that offensive line, like what can you expect? And then if you go back to his college days, it's not terrible. I misspelled that. Here we go. It's not terrible. He played for Syracuse and Louisville. He played all 5 years, so that's why he's so old. He doesn't have like, a huge runway, but like I think this year he has a last chance opportunity to do something. But there is some like value, like for Louisville, he had 181 carries, 1,128 yards, 13 touchdowns, and then he also caught another 21 passes for another 246 yards. Like in 13 games to have over 100 yards from scrimmage and 14 touchdowns, like that's something. That's something, man. Like it's just the Texans. Like the circumstance is so unique. And if you tell me they don't draft another running back, I could see them move off of Mixon, and now we're just an injury away to Woody Marks, where Jawar Jordan is getting legit touches on a legit offense, and he's also going undrafted. So I'm going to have a unique player that may not show up on anyone's team. So that is the team. That is the roster. Very unique team, different, had fun, but we'll see. Like, I really don't know what to make of it, but just a reminder how it went. Christian McCaffrey, Trey McBride in the first 2 rounds. Followed that up with Rashee Rice at a discount. Garrett Wilson at a minor discount. Jalen Waddle, I think an excellent lock of a pick in the 5th. Love Waddle at this price. Jalen Warren, because we didn't want to get stuck with no running back production as our RB2. Then we reached on Corum to also guarantee we got someone there. Then we go Mahomes with the Rashee Rice stack. Love it. DJ Moore at a huge value, pick 104. Love that as well. And then Baker, I think, represents kind of a tier break among like really valuable quarterbacks that I think, based on ADP, is being slept on. You could argue he should be drafted where Mahomes is going, along with Stafford. I think Mayfield is actually really, really valuable here at 113. But after that, we go Kayshon Boutte. Fine, but I wish I took McMillan. In hindsight, really wish I had the stack with Baker there. Then I go Dallas Goedert. So my tight end room is great with Trey McBride and Dallas Goedert. We'll see where Goddard lands, but I would assume he just stays in Philly. And then Dobbins, almost took him in the previous round, so loved the ADP value at 152. Dobbins, I think, was a smash pick, kind of saves some of my running back production. Ayuk, I can't help myself, but honestly, it feels like the only bad pick so far, the only pick I kind of regret, and it also might be a great pick. I still think there is an argument that Ayuk can still smash, especially in the 14th round. The risk level is pretty low. But Tesla, I think, is probably a safer pick than Ayuk, so I like him quite a bit. I think a breakout is coming. Good touchdown value with him. And then Sean Tucker, we got a discount by like 20 picks, so whatever. I need running back, and he was there. So then we took Kyle Williams with our final pick, the combo of Boutte and Kyle. Not my favorite, but I think they both have some high spike week potential. And then a flyer on Caleb Johnson, but very risky pick, could be nothing. Aaron Rodgers could also retire, be a 0, but if he doesn't, if he plays for the Vikings, watch out, could be great. And then Jawar Jordan, we're just mixing it up, trying to find a buried diamond in the rough, but who knows, could be a 0. Wouldn't be shocked at all. So that's the team. We got some other teams here in the chat with us that would like a spotlight on their team. We got Legalize It. Let's take a look at Legalize It team. His team has JSN, Saquon. We started with a similar trio earlier today. Has JMO in the 4th. Javonte, like the 3rd running back there. Not bad at all. Then has Mike Evans, Quentin Johnston. I like that. You're pushing quarterback, but have Laporta and JMO stacked up with Goff. That's pretty dope. Have Darnold stacked up with JSN. That's a nice way to fill it out. I do think that's pretty good. And then Tyrone Tracy, not a bad pick, especially with the injury to Cam Skattebo. We've seen him play well, but I think if Scattaboo's healthy, that does have some downside to it as well. But Debo, I think Debo's going at a decent price. I don't think that's bad. Stroud, I think, is pretty wise to get back in on at quarterback before it's too late. So don't hate it at all. Get Tank Dell. There's some major upside with Tank Dell, so I like that quite a bit, but definitely risky. Just like Ayuk could be a 0, but could also finish top 20 if everything goes ideally. So good luck with that. Fingers crossed. A big fan of Tank Dell as well. AJ Barner, Dalton Schultz, and you also have Sam Laporta. So good tight end room. That's pretty solid. But I feel like Schultz could be slipping at some point in time. I don't know if I feel super confident with Schultz this year, but has good yardage at times. Kind of matchup dependent, not many touchdowns. You do have him stacked up with Stroud, though, so justified. Wholeheartedly, that's a fine pick. But Ray Davis, decent. I've seen him fall to the final round, though. Sometimes Ray Davis is not that coveted, but a decent pick, not terrible. Keon, we'll see, but I don't know. That's some weird vibes. I was planning on taking Jordan James, so for you to snipe me on him, I was a bit sad about that. That's a good pick. I like that a lot. I think fading CMC is not a bad call at all. And then Christian Kirk could be one of the very valuable free agents that's changed his teams this year. Really could be a high riser after free agency is settled. So I do like the Christian Kirk final round selection as well. Really good team, man. Very solid picks. Not in love with the Keon Coleman selection, but it's round 18, so who cares? Even if it misses, that's fine. I think even though you pushed quarterback more than anyone else in this lobby, except the team at 12. You made it out okay. Goff, I'm pretty high on. And then Darnold, a very good value, always slept on. And then Stroud, if he can do something, saves you. Um, with the stacks, I think your team shaked out really well. I like this team quite a bit, man. Nice job. Very well-rounded roster. With a late quarterback strategy, I think it worked out great. Green Bean was right behind me. Green Bean went James Cook and Love. So strong running back production. Let's hope Love has a good landing spot, but he should. He probably will. Tedro McMillan. That pick scares me a little bit, but Loveland, a stud tight end, might not be worth it, but absolutely will finish top 5. So if that's the price, then I will be mixing in Loveland as well. So that's fine. Cardell Tate, Ohio State receiver, can't really go wrong. Not going to hate on that, but I don't know enough to say for sure. It's all about landing spot a little bit, but should work out. In general, every Ohio State receiver is ready to go. So should be great. Brian Thomas, we mentioned it earlier. For Parker Washington to go, it's the 7-12. That's a bit odd by comparison, but definitely has the elite potential. Thomas is okay. I do think Thomas is the guy I want the most in Jacksonville, so that's fine. That's fine. But sometimes I'm a little reluctant to click Jags receivers, but it's too early to know if that's good or bad. Justin Herbert, I love the value on him. You do not have him stacked up, but who cares? Has rushing value, so that's valuable in and of itself. Chuba, I don't know what to make of Carolina these days. That backfield scares me, but I do think Chuba is probably the front runner still. Not worried about Brooks at all. And then if Dowdle doesn't show up there this year, which he probably won't, then Chuba's the man. Chuba's probably a good pick in hindsight. Coleman, I've heard good things, but I have not looked into it enough to have a strong take. Khalil Shakir feels like he's going a little late, but solid pick, a little low upside, and you have to imagine they bring in a new receiver into Buffalo. I would assume they make some splash in that department, either via the draft or free agency. Not sure if Shakir will be the number one, but round 10 with Addison, not bad. I don't hate it, but it's a little hard to know for sure. And then Jake Ferguson, I like a lot. Jaden Higgins, I'm high on as well. Good pick. Should have value. Daniel Jones, risky, but upside. Aaron Jones is okay. Likely big variables with him, but high upside. Should be healthy this year. Love Torrey Horton. McCarthy, I'm betting Rodgers steals his job. So as of today, I'm not trying to draft much McCarthy, but we'll see on that. That could be perfectly fine. When he is active, he does have upside. So his rushing stats underrated. And then year 2 with Kevin O'Connell as the starter could definitely take a leap. But I also think Rodgers is someone to worry about with McCarthy. And then some rookies to round it out. I do not know enough. So good luck. I like the team for the most part, but there are some big gambles here. A lot of rookies. So I hope you know your stuff. I do not at all. So I'm not someone that's gravitating towards rookies because I just don't have strong enough takes as of today. But Jamie, I hope you're still waiting. Given you were in the other one, I saved you for last because I wanted to hit up other teams that have not been reviewed yet. So let's look at big games team, and then I'm probably going to log off after that. We got Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry. I like to start. Chris Olave at a good value. Quinshon Judkins, pretty good. And then I wish you didn't take Drake May again, but I think it's fine. Drake May, Joe Burrow. Love the Burrow selection with Jamar. And then Tyler Warren followed up with Diggs at a big value. So I get that. I think at that point you had to take Diggs because he fell so far. And then Montgomery, solid pick, especially if he stays in Detroit. Very solid pick. Woody Marks, I bet against him with Jawar Jordan, but at the moment he's the guy there. So at the moment he holds the most value. It's fair. It's a fair pick for sure. Chris Godwin, would have loved if you let him fall to me, but I don't blame you. Godwin has definite value. Golden, we'll see. Golden, I've seen go in a very wide range. Like I've seen Golden go much higher than this, and then I've also seen him fall a little further. Golden's weird, but some potential. I think they're going to move off Dobbs, so I think Golden is a fine pick. If they let a first round pick be a bust, that's going to be bad in the building. So, Golden, I wouldn't give up on. Like, look at Devontae Adams' rookie season, and if you gave up on him, you made a big mistake. So, hopefully that's similar with Golden, but we don't know at the moment. It's kind of hard to bet on, but Green Bay has value for sure. Kamara, I have not clicked Kamara at all. I think you should have gone Dobbins there. But Bryant, I love. Rashad White, love as well. Keaton Mitchell, I think, is very compelling, especially handcuffed to Derrick Henry. I think that's fine. I am pro handcuff at times, especially with an aging veteran like Derrick Henry. Mason Taylor, not in love with him, but he's fine, not atrocious. You have Tyler Warren, so you're not counting on him too much. Also have Mooney. At this price, I'm in on Mooney again, but it's around 18, so the expectation is just pretty much nothing. So we'll see on that. But Bateman, I think, could be a fucking steal. For you to grab Bateman here, I didn't even notice him before these drafts. I think he's absolutely legit. And then you do take Sinnott. Sinnott is a true lottery ticket, but if it's not going to happen this year for Sinnott, it probably never will. So, not bad. I think you landed the plane pretty well. The Drake May, Joe Burrow, and then stopping at that, I think is actually very nice in hindsight. I think it turned out pretty well, bro. I like it more than the last one, for sure. Balanced approach with running back. You got 7 of them, but 2 early, 2 in the middle, and then 3 late. I like the ones you got. The only pick I didn't really love is like Mason Taylor and maybe Woody Marks. But like otherwise, I think it's a great team. Nice job, man. I think this one's actually really dope. Love the Burrow and Jamar Chase stack. And then you did have some correlation with Drake May. Where did Hunter Henry go here? Did you get sniped on Hunter Henry? He goes at the 14.1. So, yeah, I may have gone Hunter Henry instead of Kamara. And then instead of Mason Taylor, you could have taken another running back or someone. Maybe even a quarterback. But I think that's nitpicking. I like the team. I think you did a good job. You believe Woody Marks' value. For being high as fuck, I think you did a great job. Woody Marks is either a great value or just like a complete bust. Like I don't think there's any in between. Peanut Punch, like my team except Ayuk. I think I would agree with this take. I think I like it as well, except for the Ayuk pick. But I'm learning. I'm still learning. And old habits die hard. Watch him fucking be the piece you need. Watch him completely burn me yet again. He probably sucks. I don't know if I get the reference. But Green Bean says it didn't end up with much correlation, but I think it still has potential. Not my favorite so far. Yeah, I think the nature of this is like there's going to be some teams you love and then some teams that you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? And I definitely had a bit of a grab bag of that tonight. So that's going to be it. We've been live streaming for about 3 hours. I think that's going to be it for me. But had fun. Really appreciate everyone stopping in. And thanks for everyone who donated. Y'all came in the clutch. Really appreciate that. That was dope. But maybe we'll do one last pipe, one last bong rip or whatever y'all have. One last smoke before we go. I do have to pack it though, so I'll be here for maybe another couple minutes. We'll try and hit it at 11:11. It's 11:10 right now. I got a ticking time clock, but I don't need much. We don't need too much. Just enough for a nightcap. Okay. I'm ready if you are. Give it. Oh, I beat the timer. It's not even 11:11 yet. Yo, we're on 2/2, February 2nd, and now it's 11:11. If you break that down, 1 plus 1 is also 2, so it's also 2/2, 2/2. Good omen? I think so. Not a coincidence at all. That was a good one. Also, before I go, shout out Angus McKay. Pops in on the channel. Ahmad, my best friend. It's his birthday today, and I'm sure he's spending it with his lovely fiance. Shout out Angus. Happy birthday, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Excited for this next year. And enjoy your birthday. All right. That's going to be it. I'll see y'all guys tomorrow. Much earlier than today. But that's going to be it for me. Had a great time. And good to be back. We will be hitting the stream much more in the future. So peace out, everyone. Good luck. And yes, Angus, happy birthday. Peace out.